As we are all approaching the upper sanctum, would we like to introduce ourselves a bit?
Hi everyone, my name is Arnold. I go by MurderofBirds online. I am a Genshin Impact content creator. I enjoy lore and discussing lore with said peers, and I am so excited to talk about all the new stuff before 5.2. So happy to be here.
Also, hello. Since we're continuing introductions, my name is Kiryu. I am also a Genshin Impact content creator and a lore enthusiast. I primarily make lore shorts, and it's very, very fun being able to delve deep into the lore of Hoyoverse games, but Genshin Impact specifically. So, I am usually yelling about stuff on Twitter, but I enjoy making lore threads or rambling about them in different servers. So it's a pleasure to be speaking to everyone.
Hi, I'm Roosevelt. I'm 19 and I never learned how to read. I think I can read, mostly. I think I'm pretty literate. Anyway, so I don't stream on Twitch or anything. I never have. I just hijack everyone else, including my wife, Owlet Desu. She's been the main victim of my shenanigans. But my main Genshin lore outlet is YouTube, so you can find me at Roosevelt Fox on the YouTubes.
And then hello everyone, my name is Leah. Ignore me shooting at them from afar with Vicky. I wear many hats. I was an official caster for Genius Vacation TCG tournaments when they were still running, so I've traveled the world with Hoyo doing that. I'm also a singer. You've probably heard me on TNB's covers of various things. And I'm also a fellow Lorekeeper, which is how I originally built my Twitter following. I am streaming right now along with Kiryu and Arnold, so thank you guys so much for having me here as always. I always love these lore discussions.
Well, thank you. So lovely being able to talk to everyone about the lore and just keeping up with everything. And now that we are here in the upper sanctum, I do want to ask some questions because we have had to halt discussion on World Quest. So one of the questions I really have for you three is which World Quest from version 5.0 and 5.1 stood out to you the most?
This one.
Yeah, it's a toss-up tie between the Upper Sanctum World Quest and the Pledge and Forgettance, like with the murals in the third quest.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the two. Like, I loved this quest, like the Hanan Pacha quest, for just like learning about phlogiston. I think like phlogiston as like a concept in Teyvat is so complex and in depth. I feel like for anything that we've learned in the game thus far, like as like a system of power in the nation, I think it's super cool. It's an energy source. It's a decryption of ancient language with the dragons.
Yeah, that was so cool to learn about.
Yeah, and the fact that this entire place is basically like, I'm probably gonna bring this up throughout Natlan, but it felt very like Avatar Last Airbender, like the Sage of the Stolen Flame just taught firebending to mortals, like to humans. And yeah, I loved it. But it's between those two quests, but like I really love, like, this one really excited me for the third one. I like the Shadowpins quest too. That one felt very tame and very I guess like very straightforward, and then it really expanded with this quest. So I think this one is definitely the one that really got me hyped and excited.
Yeah, I agree. I really love the atmosphere up here, and honestly, the island, I think we can go back to that island, right? I think it was from the last World Quest, the one directly preceding this, or wait, am I getting the order mixed up? I literally just did it yesterday, but there's like an island, you like walk through like hell stairs to get there.
Oh, yeah, through the lava.
Yes,
Yeah.
revisit
Yeah.
that place.
That's like the final quest. So you have to.
That's the final one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do the other ones before that one.
That one was definitely my favorite. Just the things we learned and like the way they presented it, and like it really felt like I was on a Pokemon adventure with my Saurian. And like the moment where there was like the cutscene where they come out from either side of the mural and then they form that bridge that unites in the center and then walk down together.
Yeah.
Like that was so cool for me because like it's basically tying everything in that the Saurian today is like the chosen one of the past and like we're their companion and like we're representing representing those past historical figures in today's Natlan. It was very cool.
I have to agree with you because that was and remains the world quest that really stuck out to me the most in Natlan. And of course, I was incredibly excited when Arnold was finally able to do it because the amount of lore you get from that is so much. I think not only was it so fun to be able to learn more about your little Saurian companion, but whenever I see murals, neurons are activated.
Yes.
Because it's so important across Teyvat. So when you have a mural that's of Xbalanque defeating presumably Shriekwaddle, and then the other one has a very mysterious dragon that could or could not be Nibelung, destroying Irminsul question mark and the last angel envoy
that was so
attempting
that
to
was so
protect
sick.
it.
It was so cool.
So it's one of those things where it's been a while since we had murals. This isn't to dismiss the murals we also saw in Chenyu Vale. But I think because we're in the land of dragons and we're finally really delving deeper into dragon history, ancient dragon history, it's what is really keeping my attention. So I feel across all of them, I thoroughly enjoyed all of them. But that one to me it took my breath away. And it was so cool watching your Saurian friend fight.
Oh my god.
A rift wolf.
Oh my god. That was so
That was pretty awesome.
So like when you go through going through the lava, at first I was like, oh my god, are we going into the bowels of hell? And then it goes pitch black. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was joking. I was like, where the heck are we going? I had no idea. And then you get to the catastrophe's end. It had like that shattering effect too.
Yeah.
I was, and then you see the golden wolf lord, and I'm like, the first thing I thought of was, I'm gonna lose this fight. I don't have a Geo character.
That's what I said too. That's like the exact order of events that happened to me streaming it yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way that I'm I was like, I don't even remember the last time I fought this boss. Like, it's like such a random thrown in boss. But then I was like, wait a minute, maybe my Saurian, because he's the the Geo Saurian of the bunch, and then he just stole the show. I let him do all the damage too. I was like, I need him to get all the XP.
This is just, sorry, like a side tangent, but something that happened to me yesterday. Like Packle has to give us his blessings, right? To go on this journey, and he fight me. I challenge you to a Pokemon battle. And so someone in my chat was like, okay, so let the Saurian finish him off. Let the Saurian get the last hit in. So when he was really low HP, I just sat there watching him, and my Saurian was just sitting there watching him, and then he freaking ran into the flames and died. It was the funniest thing ever.
Oh my goodness, that's so dark. Oh no. I was going to say, for me, I after seeing the cutscene where you see either Lumine or Aether wave, and then you see your little Saurian wave to you. The bridge connects, and then you're descending. I was like, okay, this is really neat. I'm excited to just, be teleported to the next area. And then we kept descending. And then once it became pitch black, I literally stopped. And I'm like, let me take pictures. I'm very unnerved, but I'm going to take a lot of pictures because I don't know if we can come back here.
Yeah. As
you continued, I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm playing Silent Hill 2 because I feel like I'm descending into hell, and there is no, we're not stopping. And it was so unnerving for me, but I loved it because once everything is resolved and you get to that sacred place that is so beautiful, very Kokomi chord, by the way, the music, the very ancient architecture that's there, I'm so sorry, I will always gush about that world quest because it's just so good. It was so good and definitely worth playing. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean,
I'm just so happy to finally talk about it.
When I seeing that place for the first time, I immediately picked up on the music, which is it's like a more bittersweet, somber, emotional song of the the little guy's domain when you first get there. That version is very chipper and upbeat, and I feel like the song that plays is just I feel like this is a song that almost kind of initiates like a farewell when it comes to like the journey that we're going on with our little guy. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was very interesting, all the information we were getting.
I do think we're gonna come back and have another adventure with our little guy in the next patch, because there were so many Ochkanatlan references.
Wait,
Yeah.
So sorry. Just my quick opinion. Sorry.
No. I was
basically-
actually I was just about to ask you to share your thoughts. I was like, wait a minute, I don't. Let's give Rue the floor.
Okay, so I agree with everything that's been said. Like murals, neuron activation, both, like all of these quests were so strong. Like the Hanan Pacha one was like really strong with lore. The Shadowpins one with the Conria stuff, like that was like I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, but then obviously when we finally get to, you know, go to get the golden entreaty, it's like with the murals and just everything that was like, and there are a lot of bits and pieces that I've really dissected. It's just really interesting. Okay, so first of all, after reading the Obsidian Codex, like I was really excited to see more about the Sage of the Stolen Flame.
Right.
Waxaklahun Ubah Kan.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, and that was like confirming, like, oh, he's really behind this, and like, so that was exciting, and like this whole sort of like theme of like humans and dragons, because Genshin bringing back Enjo was not a coincidence, because Enjo was the person to tell us about Bishop people.
That is true.
So and he, like, do you guys remember in that quest, Enjo was like, hey, can I touch the dragon? Can I touch it? He was just so fascinated. And it's like, that's me. That's me. That's me. I see myself here.
I understand.
Yeah. So I see everything sort of, not everything, but a lot of themes converging right now, and I'm like, ooh, neurons activated. Sorry, neurons activated is going to be like my theme for the night, because
Good.
oh my god, like just every world quest, all the artifacts, the book.
Yeah, I recently, so I did an 8-hour stream the other day, and I read every piece of Natlan, like the books, weapons, artifacts. So I pretty much like got like a crash course on like all of the history, the Cinder City set, the Obsidian Codex, some of the books in the region as well. And like those books like were like all of that information just was reinforced off of the quest that we did. So like the Obsidian Codex was like, you know, it revealed the kind of the set pieces of like the birth of Natlan from the dragon era transitioning over to mankind. I love how much shade Waxaklahun like gives to the dragons, in the sense of it's like, okay, I feel like they're all just a bunch of cavemen, and Ubah Kan is the only one with some sense, and he's like, man, I'm surrounded by idiots. I need to like give my, like, pretty much have faith in humanity, because, you know, clearly all of these other races and creatures from even all the other nations kind of see something in humanity as like this special sacred life form that is able to kind of transcend what has become Teyvat over however many years it's been. So I really loved just kind of getting the bona fide answers of like who exactly you know, stole the power from dragons, gave it to humans, how that brought up like humanity to be able to wield phlogiston, and how that eventually led into the era of Xbalanque being born and coming into power, and then being able to fight back with that power and become the Pyro Archon, and everything else that followed. Especially I think Ochkanatlan, I'm actually really surprised that we're getting it seemingly so soon. Like, I felt like they were gonna pull like a Remoria with it, where, you know, in Fontaine they gave us the golden troop set in 4.0, and then we didn't get Remoria until 4.6. So I'm actually really excited, and also somewhat surprised that we're getting Ochkanatlan, because that's kind of like the other shoe dropping. You know, the first half of a lot of the lore was established here with the Sage, and Ochkanatlan was created by the followers of Xbalanque, so that's pretty much where the second half of like all of this lore I feel like is going to come together.
You know, having done the world quest just yesterday, like these last two world quests, because I did the Shadowpins one way at the start of 5.0, and then finally caught up to these yesterday. A lot of it's fresh in my mind as well, and something you said earlier just made me remember like a big question mark I had yesterday, because I remember Chikia, our NPC here, was like so adamant that Waxaklahun Ubah Kan was a human, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to the mural and there's a dragon, and I'm like, that's the Sage? Wait, because she was like so adamant. She was like, there's there's no way. She's like, there's actually no way. I wouldn't believe that. But then it makes sense, like, the more you dig into everything, like, this dragon wrongly believed in humanity, even though they were seen as weak by the other dragon kind, and he wanted to protect them. And, like, so, of course, to some people, maybe he's seen as a human in history because, like, I don't know, the other dragons seem so scary and, like, tyrants, right?
Leah,
go on.
Oh, okay, so just a quick note. So in the Obsidian Codex, which I have spent a lot of time, like, looking at, in the Flower of Feather, whichever one comes first, it does have a line about, like, it goes over the history, and then it says, oh, and then a human, in quotation mark, saw a better future, but it was referring to Waxaklahun Ubah Kan.
Yeah.
Which is like, but he was a dragon. But why is he referred to as human? So I feel like there's something, they're doing something here with trying to blur the lines, and it's not even about evolution necessarily. It's just about
perspective.
I don't even know.
I think it's like probably to the people of Natlan, the sage had the spirit of humanity, and maybe somewhere along the line, like, the lines get blurred, because that does happen in history. Like, that really can happen in history. One of my favorite examples of this is, like, the Christmas stories we tell our kids were actually written as, like, marketing gimmicks in the early 1900s, like Santa Claus and a lot of these, like, modern day Christmas stories, not like the religious ones, but like the secular Christmas stories. Like, I believed them as a kid, but they were written to be marketing stories, so things get blurred sometimes.
Because you went in a very different direction with, like, sort of like narratives, whereas, like, my brain went to like I have, like, a lot of, like, paleontologist friends where, like, they will tell you anytime that, like, man, like, naming species or, like, deciding what, like, if you find a specimen, what species is which, because how do you differentiate it? Like, is it like their physical characteristics, their DNA, or because there's too much overlap? It's like we're putting creatures in bins, right? Even though it's more of like a very complex web, right? So that's where my brain went. Floor back to you guys.
When I first heard that, like, when she said that, oh, it's a human, I immediately, like, started sussing that out, because the logic that I came to was like, how did a human steal power from the dragons to then give it to humans? I immediately said it would make more sense if a dragon stole from dragons and gave it to humans, and then that evened the playing field. So and then once I saw the mural, I was like, this is like someone's writing the wrong history books, because, like, bro's getting called a human. I mean, I don't know. And then when I saw, like, I forgot what it was that I was reading, but I saw human in quotations. That's when I started thinking, oh, like, because, like, it's in the Obsidian Codex as well. Like, I don't know verbatim, but it basically says something about fusing two worlds into one. And so I immediately thought, wait, is he a human? Like, I didn't know if it was implying that dragons can become humans or humans can become dragons, or if there's going to be like a dragon hybrid evolution, if you will, which is what I've been saying since the Fontaine Archon quest. Once I found out that Natlan was a nation of dragons, I was like, can we get a human dragon hybrid, please? That would be so freaking cool. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting move, because Xbalanque is the first Pyro Archon at the end of the day, but, like, I think it's really cool that Ubah Kan isn't the strongest dragon, but it's very easy. Like, throughout all of the lore readings, like the books and stuff, there are so many stories that depict the dragons being these ferocious, deadly, overpowered monsters and creatures compared to humans, but they're really stupid. Like, they're very simple-minded. They're like, me, like caveman, me strong, me smash, and then the humans just outsmart them every step of the way. And that, I mean, I feel like that's why we're the dominant race on Earth. It's just because of our intellect. And so, like, it's very interesting to see that there was even a dragon that was, like, smart enough to realize that the next step for everyone, for fighting the abyss, for overturning fate, was mankind. So I think that was I think it's all really cool how everything is kind of playing out with the story so far.
So Arnold, you mentioned the like two worlds merging as one. I think Are you possibly referring to Root of the Spirit Marrow, where it reads merging 2 species and 2 bloodlines as one?
Yes.
And thus would an ancient
Ooh.
soul surge through a reborn civilization.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
I'm
And yeah,
just
I
saying-
think that would be interesting because like I feel like humanity's the answer at the end of the day. Like I like Oceanids wanted to become humans, and the dragons are seeking out this kind of union between human and Saurian companionship. Clearly there is something very human that like all of these other creatures and races lack, I would say. And I mean, ultimately they are the creation of, you know, the primordial one. So, you know, they're a very unique case compared to everything else. But yeah, I just think that that's a really cool idea. And I'm wondering how that will necessarily play out, because Ochkanatlan already has kind of a lot of breadcrumbs about that too.
I'm very curious if we're going to meet an NPC that is very similar to Tsumi from
I was gonna bring that up too.
because like
We do.
don't get me wrong,
Woo.
like, you know, like Twirl's hair, like I could talk about Novelette all day, but like this we have to have a separate, you know, because he's already like they're not gonna welcome me here in Natlan, so I have to stay over here in Funhen, which he can easily just come to Natlan, but it's fine. I really do think that it would be thematically appropriate to learn about like either descendants or just like ancient peoples like that who are like half human, half dragon hybrids, or how that works. Again, descendants or otherwise, because Enkanomiya really opened the gates with things like that more. And since like Tsumi, also shout out Tsumi, I miss her.
I do
wish
too.
I really miss her, but I feel it would be really, really cool to have a character like that and not only learn about their lore, but see their perspective on the world now.
Well,
So-
you know, we have leeway characters that are half adepti, right? So it wouldn't be the first time they've done that with even playable characters.
I can't wait for them to introduce this character as the next 5-star. Please look forward to it.
Leeway, but like any sort of like character that has animal characteristics, because so Ashikai she streamed yesterday after her own power outage, but she was pointing out that in Lynette's character stories that Lynette is specifically described as having atavistic characteristics. So atavism, if you guys don't play Star Rail, I'll give you an explanation, because the last patch of Star Rail was very focused on this. But atavism is all about regression, so it's like moving backwards. Is my understanding. That's what I got from. I still have like the banana song stuck in my head. Sorry, again,
my
another
God.
Star Rail.
I need to catch up.
I want to mention how I agree with you earlier, Arnold, where you said I was pleasantly surprised that we're going to get a new region, specifically Ochkanatlan, this soon, because I was of the belief we wouldn't get it for at least 2 more patches at the earliest. So I'm already very curious to, I mean, well, we have information as to the ancient, like what happened there, TM.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder what other stories there are to tell.
I
So
personally think that releasing it next patch works perfectly timing-wise, because it should be a giant lore patch drop, like in terms of world quest and map expansion. And since the Archon quest we're getting next patch is more like story exposition for the clans we haven't been to yet, it seems like, and just like general prep for like the really, really big Archon quest in 5.3, I think like it will scratch that itch for all of us Lorekeepers that really like to dig into the world quest and have something to do that makes us think about what's going on. So I think the timing is really good for Ochkanatlan's release.
Yeah, especially because like I was really like I didn't know what they would give us in the meantime, because like we didn't get a region expansion in 5.1, and
Right.
because we still have the Mare Javari, I'm expecting that this patch is going to like 5.2 and 5.3 is going to be the Ochkanatlan expansion, and then 5.6 will probably be the Mare Javari and the Collective of Plenty and the Volcano. So
Right.
so yeah, I'm so excited for Ochkanatlan. It's not even funny. Like I like that is single-handed. Like, and here's the thing too, is I was not expecting an Archon quest or an interlude next patch, and so I was shocked when I saw "Oh Captain, my Captain," overlooking Ochkanatlan in the 5.2 trailer.
Oh,
How
that-
good was that? Like learning, like we have to talk, like we get to hang out with him, and the devs told us that we need to overanalyze everything he says. Like,
Yeah.
oh, basically every date I've been on before. Yeah, let's go.
Speaking of Il Capitano, World's Hair, it's the fact that, like, I'm sorry if I may gush about him for a second.
Please,
Like, they're
please
just
do.
really, like, they're really giving us, like, a lot of Il Capitano, which, of course, to me, just gives me red flags because I know how this ends.
Yeah.
But it's, like, on the topic of the special program, like the idea of someone like him just being like, all right, yeah, I'm also going to investigate this area because I know things, TM. We will do this. And I'm very excited. And I don't know what to, like, I don't think I know what to expect because I don't, but I really want to know how much more there will be, because Interlude Archon Quest should never be slept on. But also, like, having a new area with him in it is just...
And this is the first interlude that's happening in the middle of the main Archon quest. Like,
Yeah,
every interlude
it's
has
always
been
at the
like,
end.
yeah, exactly. It's always been like patches later. So, you know, this is obviously like a, hey, Mavuika is charging up, getting ready to go into the Night Kingdom. In the meantime, what are they doing at the other tribes? Let's go find out. So
Yeah.
it's
filler arc. It's not
yeah.
filler arc, it's filler
Sorry.
arc.
Also, for clarification, from what I recall from the live stream, this isn't technically an interlude like the Chasm interlude or like the Wanderer interlude. It's still chapter 5, but the title is interlude.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that makes a difference, but it's like it's still an interlude. It's just
It's just not. It's just
So
not.
my-
It's just not finishing. It's not wrapping up the story. You know.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
my thought on that is that it's still technically chapter 5 because time-wise it should come after what we just did and
Yeah.
before the next thing. Like, it's not something that can be played like independently, like Sal's Chasm quest. Like after like the Leeway chapter or something. It's
Yeah.
very squarely in the middle of the major Archon quest in 5.1 and 5.3, but it's still an interlude.
Yeah, I feel like it's like it's not enough to push the needle into like another act, but it's
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
there's still enough here that we can kind of give you the aftermath, because like, you know, we're going to the Night Kingdom next, but it's like, wouldn't we still want to know what happened in the other, you know, the tribes weren't available yet in Act 4, so, you know, it's just more of the aftermath of what's happened, but now we get to go to those other tribe areas, and they said the Abyss is still lingering around, so we'll probably still have to do some, you know, and from what they showed in the 5.2, they said the Flower Feather clan got hit the hardest.
Yeah.
And so clearly
Rebuilding.
there's probably going to be some stuff there that we're going to have to tidy up before we actually are ready for the Night Kingdom.
And Nessie says it's Act 4.5.
But yeah, Ochkanatlan, I'm so excited for this place. It's not even funny. I'm so
Sorry,
through the
Can I
moon.
just interject real quickly? That,
Sure.
So during the live stream, they specifically said, listen to him closely, like watch what he says. And I'm like, okay, first of all, Hoyo, I'm coming for you because how dare you? I already overanalyze everything, right? But I feel like Capitano could go in so many directions, because when he went to Natlan, he befriended Sanhaj Kore, like the chief of the Masters of the Nightwind,
Yep.
who, in addition to being in a tribe that seems to like love like prophecy and like connecting with the Night Kingdom, they're also storytellers,
Yeah.
like T2 of the Shadowpins quest,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Capitano, just even by loose association with Sanhaj, he could have a lot of stories to tell. So I feel like it could go in a lot of different directions. It could be about Conria, it could be about Night Kingdom or history of Natlan.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna overanalyze everything. Sorry, I'm like
No,
here
it's fine.
getting so excited. I'm too excited.
I mean, listen, we have a Conrian who is giving us more lore and doesn't just visit us once every year and gives us 10 lines of dialogue. Smile.
True.
Too much about it.
Bro.
But definitely no shade. It's just Il Capitano. Yes, that is just yes. I'm very excited.
I think it's actually wild that he's been a part of every patch.
every single patch.
And he'll
And
be
he's been-
and he's got like some trick up his sleeve in the final act with it's so like that scene happened, and so now, right, I'm wondering what he's thinking in regards to like his final plan, like his final
yeah.
like whoever he's gonna face off in the end. So like clearly he's just like, okay, I just got to make sure, I got to tie up loose ends. I got to make sure the rest of Natlan's good before I go off into my final battle. But yeah, I love how, and if that is a red flag, if they're doing him so much justice, because like it's very rare that this even is like that like usually they'll just save the big reveal character. Like any other Harbinger would have been saved for like the final act, I feel like. But I just love how they're like, all right, you're gonna get all the Capitano screen time we can possibly give you for Natlan.
Still just so interesting to me, because this entire time, yes, Il Capitano is at odds with Mavuika. They will never agree on how they wish to properly protect Natlan, and for that I appreciate. But for him, like, this entire time has just been, here's the information. I'm not really going to be fighting a bunch of people if I don't have to. I want to help in any way that I can. And it's like, man,
so efficient.
I'm going to get so emotional Act 5, aren't I? I know how this goes way over. I will be genuinely shocked if he makes it out of this, but I will say I will cherish every moment because I thoroughly have enjoyed his company.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I really wonder, since we've like caught up on the lore for Natlan, do you guys have any guesses who the final foe that Capitano wants to face is?
I think we touched upon this a little bit last discussion, but I'm still very much like on the like shade of death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Renova. Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about it last time, but I wasn't caught up at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I'm on board with like Renova, but I have heard like I had a lot of comments saying like, oh, what if they're gonna have like a sinner reveal? Like
that's what I was thinking too. Like something Abyss related.
They could do.
That is true.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, because I think that would be, I wouldn't say that would be the next step, but I feel like it would fit considering what we're going to be going up against. And we have very sparse information about select sinners, but I think at this point everything and anything can be on the table. A sinner reveal or something like sinner, shade, higher, elder, eldritch god, ? That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I'm not expecting some like normie. I'm not expecting it to be someone we've seen, essentially.
Because it sounds like, you know, Renova helped Xbalanque gain the power to like help fight back the Abyss, right? And Capitano is also fighting the Abyss. So honestly, a sinner makes sense. Like obviously, like I remember the line we were discussing before with Renova. It's like, well, she's the shade of death, and like it's because of the rules that are kind of set in place by her power, that things are the way they are in Natlan. But like the Ode of Resurrection, things like that are actually meant to help people in Natlan fight against the Abyss, right? And like this is powers given by Renova to Xbalanque that have been like inherited by like each Archon coming after. So I'm wondering if it might actually be someone from the Abyss, considering like maybe Capitano's just like, I'm gonna, you know, pluck the root from its source. Like just dig it out of the ground.
I wonder if it's Kirk or if they've passed at some point. Because I feel at some point, like, because they really teased us Skirk. She lore dropped. Neuvillette was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't get paid enough for this. Threw Tartaglia in a hole with like quantum energy and then just left. So maybe she will return because she is like...
Well, she said that she's gonna tell Child, like she's gonna relay information for Child to tell us, which is probably like a setup for Snezhnaya, honestly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like if you think it's one of the sinners, what sinner do you think would make sense for Capitano to face? There's 5 of them.
Do you think? Okay, you know the crystal in the chasm that's like talking and like makes people cursed with Abyss power?
Yeah, the one that's gone now.
Is it gone?
Well, when
we can't visit it
in the quest when Aether went back there, it was gone.
Yeah, but we didn't like destroy it.
But yeah, Vetterfulnir.
If we're referring to Vetterfulnir, that's amazing because that's you know, Dainsliff stuff.
The next best thing.
It's literally just, I want my Conrian lore, so give me all of them, please. Thank you.
Wait, but what if we get Capitanos fighting the final foe in a Dainsliff quest?
I mean, that would be everything. I love my Conrians. They're so dramatic. I love it. Like, I'm here for it. But like, because the thing is, I hesitate to say that Il Capitano himself would fight a sinner, and this isn't because I wouldn't see him like fighting, like, if it came down to it, of course, they're quote unquote the reason Conria was the way, like what happened. But I feel, I'm not sure how to properly articulate this. I feel like an appearance of them is something I expect more than him just immediately going to trade blows with them.
Yeah.
Especially if his fight isn't directly with them, even if he may have like hatred or resentment for them or something like that. Like that seems like a more defensive angle. But I do like I don't know how to properly say this. I'm probably like talking in circles, so I apologize.
No, it's okay.
You're good.
Yeah, I definitely feel if it's not the sinners, then it has to be like a higher god or something.
Something related
sorry.
to the abyss.
Like it has to be. Like I don't think it could be anything else.
I think there's
unless it's like an angel.
I think there's gonna be 2 fights though. I think Mavuika and the Traveler are gonna fight whatever abyss thing is, like whatever the abyss creature is. I assume that's what they're gonna fight. But I think Capitano's gonna fight something else, and he needs the fact that he needs the Lord of the Night's help is interesting too. But
Right.
I just don't know. Like, if a sinner shows up, that's great, because, like, you know, proper introduction and all that, but I just don't know. I don't think it's a fight that we're going to participate in. I feel like it's a fight that we're going to see happen, but we're not going to, like, I don't think Aether's going to be a part of helping the captain. I think he's going to help Mavuika, and this is very much going to be, like, a 1v1. Maybe they'll do, like, an animation of it, I hope, because he was already, like, his fight with Mavuika was insane, so if he's going up against someone else with the assistance of the Lord of the Night, whether, you know, I don't know if she's going to be able to keep him alive. Like, he's like, I need your help. I need your blessings or whatever. You know, because he apparently can't die, but I'm assuming, like, what would he need the Lord of the Night's help with then? You know, death isn't an issue for him.
Wait, sorry. Just I'm loving this. Sorry, I'm so sorry to interject.
No, that's okay.
But Lord of the Night, the Wyab can protect against abyssal energy. So maybe it's just like a thing about like protecting against corruption.
Yeah. So if it would make sense if it's a sinner then, because they're like, they've pretty much like, they've made deals with the abyss at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have abyssal influence just like the abyss itself. But
Also, if I may interject very quickly, I'm thinking, when I think of the 5 sinners, I'm like, the Traveler's position in this, in terms of any fight with them, theoretically, I don't feel will be now, if they even tried, because the Traveler couldn't even hope and did not even manage to fight against Arlecchino. Like
rank 4.
Like quite literally, Arlecchino rinsed the Traveler. And so, like, if there's anyone of the sinners, like, I think of, like, Skirk, her master, like, like, I feel like, I'm not saying Skirk is a sinner, but, like, of the sinners, I feel like having a fight immediately maybe, like, I do think there will be multiple fights, because it's not just one giant thing. Yeah. But I do think that it will be branched out in a way where certain sections of everyone has their own story to tell and has their own grievances. So I'm curious to see if and how Il Capitano will be, if there is any relation to him and the, like, 5 sinners.
I mean, what you were saying earlier about Capitano potentially meeting Skirk sometime, I think makes a lot of sense, considering, I mean, he is rank 2, right?
Sorry, Dotori's rank 2.
Dotori's rank 2. He's rank 1. Sorry, I'm considering so he's right beyond Pyro, who is basically rank 0. And like it goes Pyro and then Capitano, right?
Yeah.
So like
the Conrians run it.
Yeah, when you consider how much Pyro knows about everything, like he literally sent Wander to unreconciled stars in Mondstadt because he knew what he would see there. Like Pyro has definitely met and knows like all of these people, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
and Capitano being like #1 harbinger, like right under Pyro, I think he knows a lot more than he's let on.
Do you think Piero's the wise, like one of the sinners?
I wonder.
No.
Personally, I don't think so. I think Pyro has his own grudges because, you know, he was a sage that people didn't listen to, and he was like, please stop that. And they were like, no, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like he has his own story to tell there. I personally don't see it. If they were to reveal it in that way, I would really need convincing. And even then I probably wouldn't accept it because I think Pyro is just his own thing.
Yeah.
And to tag along with that, like when we went to the chasm, all the like small world quests in the chasm. So before Child went up and fucked up relations.
Yeah.
Snezhnaya and the Leeway were like actively like collaborating to fight the Abyss in the chasm. So all the Fatui soldiers are like, no, we're against the Abyss. We're against the Abyss.
Yeah.
And
I immediately just thought that because you guys said, oh, you guys think that he knows like a lot. So I was like, knows a lot, wise. We know a sinner with that name. And so yeah.
And no doubt, he knows more than anyone we've met. Like, honestly, like, if we met Pyro, I would die on the spot.
Well,
Just
don't
die.
do that, please. But I do think that, like, it's never remiss to me that we have these ancient characters who are like, oh yeah, about that. I was there. I was either there or in close proximity to someone who told me of the tales. And on that note, I do think, because I'm thinking about the special program, and they showcase that new like abyssal enemy.
The boss.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
God,
like, I
I'm gonna
need to
struggle
know.
so much.
So
Like, I need to know that boss drop.
Oh my, so its default is it like mimics the Irminsul. It literally looks like the Irminsul tree. And it mimics, like, I assume it mimics all world bosses. So you basically, it's RNG. You don't know what you're gonna get with the boss, which is kind of funny.
I think that's really cute.
It's literally a gotcha boss.
That just goes more into the most, like, one of the more recent enemies you fight during Act 4 of the past Archon quest, where that abyssal enemy is plant-like and came from the abyss, came through the abyss to find that quote-unquote tree-like world. And so it just gives me that. Like, once again, abyssal and the thematic, like, this recurring theme of plants, gardens, fitting in, tying it back to Albedo.
Yo,
Hey.
we all theorized that in 5.2, because they were taking a break, they would pick up what they left off with the summer event and the Durin foreshadowing, and then that didn't happen. And
That's definitely happening. What do you mean?
No, not in 5.2 though. Not in 5.2. But instead of getting one plant imposter, we're getting a different plant imposter.
No, and that's the thematic connection. Like, I was so convinced we would get like another Albedo like winter event, but instead they're introducing a boss that like is like, yeah, we're gonna imitate you. Why not? I'm an Eldritch horror.
Yeah,
like, I gotta imitate you. It's what I do.
That's so interesting too, because that's literally the whole shtick of Subject 1, which was like he wanted to mimic the real Albedo.
Oh, primordial Albedo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonder how you're doing up there.
And so like he also like he created an experimental Albedo, which was the Whopper flower, which mimics as well. And so and now we have an abyssal plant that also mimics. So I was like, damn, man, they were setting up for a slam dunk, and then they were like, not this patch, guys. Keep waiting.
I mean, that being said, the wait is very, like, I'm still excited for it. So speaking of the special program, Hoyoverse, you're gonna have Neuvillette and Zhongli.
Oh my god!
And they're just not going to interact. Is that how it is?
That is wild.
I'm glad I already have
they
them
did
both.
that. The dragon banner. I literally, when I saw that live, I was like, guys, it's Lantern Rite Act 4.
Like, I love my dragons, and the fact that they put both of these men next to each other and were like, well, have fun. This is such a disrespectful banner patch, I must say. But, you know.
Oh, that was so
Neuvillette
funny.
and Zhongli, and like one of those like shirts that's like the no fighting shirt.
Yeah, literally no fighting.
No fighting.
Also, I
So
really
good.
quickly, on the mention of the new boss, the new abyssal boss, it's called the Tenebrous Papilla, and its description reads, from the special program, like Twitter post, a pitch black monster that has descended from an alien world. It plunges its roots of corruption deep into the home of souls and memory. None knows what it gains from this, nor how it will reveal its chaotic nature and twist itself to this world.
I have so many thoughts on this. I'm also super into like sort of like broadly cosmic horror things. So and also one of my favorite movies is like exactly that. So
I just looked up what the Latin words mean. So Tenebrous means darkness, and Papilla means like pupil of the eye or little doll. So like, I don't know,
Eye of
implications.
darkness.
It's freaky.
So I feel like when I read it, I was just like, oh, it's like an abyssal strain, like an eye strain. Again, coming from Elden Ring and looking at eye imagery, it's just like, oh, eye imagery, my beloved. I was just going to mention how it specifically plunging its roots into the world and absorbing the souls and memory is like, why not? Why not?
Is the Abyss just trying to like take over? Are they like, hey, we want this for ourselves? Like, I feel like that's literally what Sus Beto was trying to do. He was like, I want to take over. I want to take the place of the real Albedo and live this existence. And
I
so
have
they're
so much
like,
to say on this topic.
and so like they're taking the memories and like they're siphoning through like the ley lines. And I'm just like, is your goal the planet? Like, do you want the planet for yourself? Is this like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they're doing it from like a darkness
there
perspective.
are like drops from the Rift Wolves, or maybe it might be the description of the Rift Wolves.
Don't even get me started.
Where it says they feel envy of their like real world kin. Like it's like they feel envy. So they were created, discarded. They were like projects, like failed projects. But they want to be the same. I forget if it's like a Leah, take this over.
They're haters.
I'm tagging on to you. Go on. Go ahead.
Okay,
You got
so
this.
I have analyzed Albedo's lore to hell and back, so let me try to make this brief, but in terms of that specifically, so when you consider like Subject 2, for example, and I wouldn't even include Durin in this because to Durin's end, he just wanted to fit in. Like if you read Dragonspine Spear lore,
Yep.
to his dying breath, he was like, I just wanted to dance with that bard. Like he wasn't jealous, he was maybe envious, because that's a better word. There was no malice in his emotions. He just had yearning. Which was also the case for Elenus, right? Because Elenus is probably also a creation of Reindadir, who unfortunately, because like any soul that is summoned from like this monster abyssal realm and is given like a physical form, that's basically what Reindadir is doing. Like it just has no compatibility with Teyvat, and so even if they want to fit in, Elenus and Durin could not fit in because their bodies, like, and Teyvat do not get along. That's why the Melusines are also kind of like they have different perspectives from normal people. By the way, just a side note.
Yeah.
But in terms of Subject 2, he's like directly jealous of everything Albedo had. And this is like basically how we see Albedo's character development, because if you follow Shadows Amidst Snowstorm's plot, like Albedo feels like he doesn't fit in with everyone. That was like the main point of his story quest. He's like, you doctors can treat people because they are you. I'm not like you. I'm different. I'm not a human. That was what he was hinting at. And we finally get to reveal that he's a homunculus and he only looks human. He never felt like he fit in. But then after seeing the jealousy in Subject 2's perspective, he's like, oh, I actually do fit in here and I should not take what I have for granted. Meanwhile, Subject 2 is just like very emotional. Like he's not thinking about right and wrong. He's just like, I want that, so I'm gonna try to get it. It's like very childlike. It's just like, I want the friends you have, so obviously I have to become you.
Feels entitled.
Yeah,
it almost seems like.
And when you consider that, like the past that Subject 2 had, like I think he was fed to Durin, like swallowed in Durin's belly at some point, just discarded. Yeah. So in terms of Subject 2 specifically, I think it's less like a general abyssal thing and more of like the circumstances of being abandoned by their mother. And like, why are you the perfect brother? Like, why do you get everything and I have to be abandoned, sort of deal? And there's a lot of parallels. Like Scaramouche felt similarly.
I wonder if that's like I wonder if that has anything to do with like the way in which they were created. Like gaining sentience gives them like access to like things beyond instinct, and they struggle to understand it, as opposed to like the primordial abyss, which is just like it acts on instinct and it's not like it's not like a life form necessarily.
For like Subject 2, it's just, the specifics of his story. He was abandoned. Scaramouche was abandoned. That's why they're parallels, and then that's why Scaramouche and Albedo are foils, and that's why Scaramouche will eventually help Durin when they do revive Durin. But then in terms of the general abyss, I think that's more like a meta thing where the powers of Celestia and then the powers of the abyss are basically like fighting each other constantly, and they're using the human world as their battleground. That's kind of how I see it. It's like a sandwich. You have like two slices of bread and then you have the meat in the center. It's being squished in the panini press.
The tasty human realm.
But like that's basically what's happening. It's like a proxy war or something. Like that between these two forces. Kind of how I see it.
I'm so excited for that battle. So here, okay, this is crazy moment right here. I might be ghostwriting. So we got the Tenebrous Mimi Flora, which is like the basic plant abyss creature that mimics like basic creatures like hilly churls and stuff like that. Then we have the Mimiflora Papilia, which is the world boss version that like mimics world bosses. So I actually wonder if the weekly boss is going to be able to mimic like Mavuika or even the Traveler when they fight it. Like I wonder if it would be able to mimic, or it could mimic like
I think it's gonna mimic Trounce domain bosses.
like yeah, I was gonna say it's either gonna mimic like other weekly bosses, or it could even mimic like Mavuika, because then it's like, oh, technically we get to fight the Pyro Archon even though it's not really her. Or even ourselves. I think that would be kind of cool. Which would be like the next step up from the other two.
I think you're onto something, considering this new boss that we have directly taps into the world's souls and memories. So I don't think it would be foolish to speculate that. And to me, if the Traveler is going to fight alongside Mavuika, it could go into either of their memories should it wish, or just again copy Mavuika and do its ditto thing.
I was gonna I think it's more intentional. I feel like it's more plausible that it would mimic Mavuika, because like the Traveler has like the recorded memories, but it's because of like the Pilgrim's Chronicle, whereas naturally he shouldn't be recorded in Irminsul, or in the ley lines of Teyvat. So if anything, I expect it probably will be like a mimic of Mavuika.
Yeah, that makes no sense. And
I'm so excited.
I do personally think that it would have the ability to mimic people, considering like its quote unquote baby stage can just mimic Pillachurls and various other monsters that already exist.
Yeah. So
I don't think it would be impossible for a very powerful abyssal creature to replicate that.
Yeah.
At least that's my speculation.
Yeah, essentially, I was like, I think the last time we fought an Archon was Raiden, and I was like, man, it would be kind of cool if like Capitano got to fight Mavuika. Why don't we get to fight Mavuika? And then I was like, well, how would they be able to make that possible? And then after the live stream, I was like, oh, that's the only thing I can think of. The only way we fight Mavuika is if it's not her, but it's like a mimicry of her, which would be super cool.
Would be absolutely amazing to have something like that in Genshin. I feel like it's something that has been done in Hoyo games a lot, especially Star Rail. If anyone has played or is caught up on things, there's so many like, oh my god, imposter, Amolga, Sus, like Tingyun, Fantilia type things in Star Rail specifically. And I feel like, I don't know, we're overdue for something like that in Genshin. If they're not gonna give us Albedo, I would love for some, like, spooky mimic thing.
Just briefly, I guess we can just briefly switch off on this in general. What do you guys think of the two, like from what we've seen, of like the tribes, the Saurians, and the playable characters?
The ones upcoming?
Yeah, so Chaska and... First off, are any of you guys intending on getting either Chaska or Auroran?
No.
No?
So I'm more interested in Seelie. I'm very invested in the Masters of the Nightwind because I genuinely am curious about their lore. I really like that. They are a shamanistic people, but I'm sorry, I must stay strong. And also I'm not really that interested in, their kids and stuff.
Yeah.
From what I saw. But I am excited for those who are waiting for them.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna quote unquote build pity. I'll probably drop like maybe 20 or 30 pulls on the latest banner to try to get Auroran. And if I don't get him, then that's just, it's going towards the Mavuika banner. But I'm not gonna go too crazy because I don't want Chaska. And so I'm hoping that I get lucky.
Something about the Flower Feather clan that interests me, I guess, is maybe the cultural inspirations, but that's exactly it. So like Chaska is like very wild western, and I was like, this is interesting.
Did you hear the music?
Thought about why. Yeah.
Did you hear the music?
Yeah, I picked up on the music. That was what made me realize during the live stream. But I thought about why, and I know that like there's a lot of references to Mayan culture and civilization in like Natlan as a whole, but they actually had trade routes up through like Southwest US indigenous tribe like a long time ago. So I'm wondering if they might like take inspiration. This is like wishful thinking, but from like other cultural groups, maybe in like the Southwest US, like not like America, yeah, guns, but like more like the indigenous history that's there, because it's very important and not talked about enough. So fingers crossed, maybe.
Question mark.
That was my thoughts when I heard that music. Be awesome.
I also think, like, I am very interested in Ororon. I do like that we learned very much, like, a lot about him, and we got to witness him just, like, standing in the middle of Mavuika and Il Capitano fighting in front of the last, like, angel. And I was like, please stop fighting.
Stop fighting, Mom and Dad.
But jokes aside, I do think it's very cool that they introduced a character who has to deal with something we had never really covered before, about a fractured soul, and then his not only opinions but him coming to, like, his character arc, essentially. I did really appreciate that, but I don't want to pull for him. So I appreciate the story that was there.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll get lucky on a future banner or something.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, there's just a lot more enticing, like, characters that I'm just eager to want to have on my account, like the Archons or a Harbinger, or, you know, someone that's, you know, it's nothing against, you know, it's just everyone's account's different at the end of the day. And I'm not trying to break the bank here, so you got to pick and choose. I do love, oh my God, she literally flies though. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
It's pretty cool. I'm excited for a trial.
Yeah, hopefully they
Wanderer
let me
who?
use her. Yeah, hopefully they let us use her a little bit in the tribal quests. But I think it's so cool. I love the Saurians. They look so cool. I don't know if any of you guys, like, if anyone else had the same thought, but the way that Iktomisaurs function, like, they can, like, interact with the world and reveal secrets and, like, spiritual secrets and, like, puzzles and stuff like that. It reminded me of the like the Surumi Island puzzles with the Thunderbird statues.
Oh yeah.
I thought of that in the live, and there's like this one graffiti art when you first walk in there. It literally looks like a giant bird too. But
no, I know which one you're talking about. It looks like a little swish, but it actually looks like a bird.
Yeah,
I was
like, oh my God, that's literally a self-portrait of Oz or something. But I really like how both of them play. I'm also kind of wondering if the last Saurian at this point, the Tatankasaurus, if it's gonna be like a ground mount. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be like if it charges or if it like sprints faster on the ground, because like now we have a flying one, we have one that leaps, we have a swimming one, a swinging one, a digging one, and so it's like there's only so many forms of transportation and exploration. But yeah, I'm excited to try out the new Saurian exploration in the new areas.
Okay, so this might be like just me in imagination land, but what if with the collective of plenty with the Tatankasaurus, there are areas where it's very difficult to traverse. Like they have like the opposite of cold shear. They have a heat effect.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like something that drains HP. But if you have a Tankasaur, because they're so tanky, you can like cross these areas.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That would be interesting, yeah.
I mean, that would be... I think you might be onto something, because if the Mare Javari releases alongside the Collective of Plenty, I'm expecting the Tatankasaurs to be directly involved in traversing that wasteland.
Ooh. I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking, like... Yeah. How could they add something different? You know, even that's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, or even the volcano, right? I assume the volcano and the Mare Javari are both going to be tied in with that tribe specifically, because it's the furthest away, and the whole like concept of the Saurians is like unique exploration for that specific tribe. So the Tatankasaurus would have to somehow interact in a way where if it's like, I don't know, if the floor is lava and the Tatankasaurs are like heat resistant or something, and they can travel over like magma or something like that, or
yeah, that makes sense, especially when you consider like Anson as a personal trainer. So like if you think about like each warrior kind of having parallels to their Saurian, like Mulan can do what the Koholosaurs do and ride the spirit waves, and Kinich can use like the little
hooks,
little things, the little hook. So like, you know, if Yanson's a personal trainer, maybe she can like build tenacity. So
she's gonna get swole.
Yeah, get swole.
She's gonna hit the gym.
Yeah.
Stamina boosters. Ooh.
No, strength, endurance, stamina. That I feel like that could be like a really cool thing that they add to it. It's like maybe it's like maybe not like the most fun way of traversing, but traversing through dangerous areas.
Yeah, and she would have to.
I guess that's I think.
Yeah, and
I
would actually let me think about that. Yeah, and she would have to somehow be reflective of the Saurian as well. So, like, Auroran literally does exactly what the Ectomisaur does. He just, like, leaps straight up, like, for his skill. And Chaska flies literally for long periods of time. So, I'm, like, whatever her kit is going to be has to somehow be, like, reflective of the Saurian for that tribe as well, which is exciting to think about because that's the one that they've been keeping under wraps. Like, they've talked a little bit about it here and there. I'm so excited for Eon-san. I'm hopefully going to... After I get Mavuika, I'm gonna be saving up all of my wishes for her, and hopefully I get lucky because I've wanted Eon-san since the Travail teaser.
Same. I think out of all the Natlan characters, she's the one I want to pull for next, even over Mavuika, despite me having like a running Archon collection.
Ooh, actually, I don't know how this is gonna play out because I don't know if Mavuika's gonna die or not. But I'm wondering if Like, are we getting a story quest for her? Because there's no tribe. Like, are they gonna go back to story quests with her, or is she just gonna die and we're not gonna get?
Well, isn't she from the Scions of Canopy?
She is.
Yeah, but we already got all 3 acts of that. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if they're just gonna give her a story quest, and if so, is she gonna get a second one? Because like,
I guess so.
After Nouvellette, I'm just like, bro, they just changed the script. Like, nothing is guaranteed.
I do think Mavuika will die, quote unquote, but she won't die. They're gonna do a Hoyoverse thing. Plus, I think about a lot of, because it's been consistent in most of the regions, the theme of duality with the Archons.
Yes.
So I do think that something like that is going to play with her. I do think if it isn't going to be because I don't think it's going to be like another interlude, because since they're doing this one, the next one would be the one with Daneslip. So it would have to be maybe some form of story quest with Mavuika, because I don't think she would just not be playable. That'd be very bold if she wasn't. Or like, but I don't know. This is interesting to think about, actually.
Yeah.
Because
well, I mentioned that too because Leah said that she's going to skip Mavuika, but then I was like, well, they always rerun the Archon before the next region comes out, but they typically also release the story quest with the Archon, but then Farina and Nouvellette didn't get one, so they changed it up with that. So I was just curious. At that point, my mind was like, wait a minute. Is Mavuika even going to get a story quest or a tribal quest, or is there going to be a part 2 to that? Does there need to be a part 2 to that? Just because, like, with everything we're getting into now.
Mavuika has, like, all the memories from past Pyro Archons, right? I was just randomly thinking of Nouvellette introducing Xbalanque and implying that he's going to come back. So I'm, like, wondering, like, I don't know, Mavuika already has all the memories of the previous Pyro Archons, but, like, what if there's, like, a moment where, like, all the personalities come back into one person? I would love it. Again, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I would love a moment where, like, Mavuika is able to communicate with, like, her quote-unquote past self, past lives, past Archons. It would probably be, like, the first. It would probably, if anyone, it's gonna be Xbalanque. I would love there to be, like, a conversation between them two, because I think that would be really odd if there was no type of, like, conversation between, like, obviously the previous one, it's very different, but because Xbalanque is so tied into the lore of the rules of Natlan and the history of Natlan, and even like the story quest, like Nahida spoke with Ruka Devada, Farina, Focalor set up Farina with like that whole story. So I would really want there to be some type of conversation between Xbalanque and Mavuika in the Act 5. I think that'd be really cool. I think it would have to probably be Act 5, because then her story quest would probably be something a bit more personal if she doesn't die. The only thing I'm thinking of is just like, because she died in the past, be resurrected 500 years now. I just don't know if that like means that if the abyss is dealt with, then the whole purpose of her doing that is fulfilled. Would she then have to pay the price for the ode and for like, the rules of Natlan and the shade of death? I don't know when that death toll will come for her, but I wonder if it's already happened.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a crack theory about this, and So 100%, I think she has to confront, talk to, discuss, engage with Xbalanque, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I have a little bit of crack because, you know how Mavuika was like, oh, the past, present, and future exist all at once?
Yes.
Something is telling me like, oh, they have to do something with this where it's like,
that is true. Yeah.
Well, also like, considering, like, if they all exist at once, that means everything is predetermined.
She's already dead.
Which means,
Well, she already gave herself to the flames, right?
yeah, no. Along those lines, it's like, yeah, everything has already happened, right? So I'm thinking like I don't have a set theory. I'm just like kind of like wondering about how, if they're going to play with like any time shenanigans, how will they do it? Like
the Sacred Sakura planting,
Yes.
because that didn't happen until Raiden's second story quest, where she like literally went back in time 500 years and planted that Sacred Sakura that was always there for us.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm thinking is like maybe they have something like from the other perspective where it's like we see the other side where it's like, oh, everything already happened. You get what I'm saying?
What if we
Where
get
it's
like,
Yes, I do.
What
I
if we
do.
get like a time skip? It's like that already happened. Here we are now.
It cuts to the traveler waking up.
I
everyone
mean,
screams.
honestly, I think anything could happen. I think there are I think they're toying with a lot of ideas that could happen, or maybe have already happened.
So-
Ooh.
So
I
Rich-
do, if I may say quickly,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do agree. I do agree with that because I am strongly of the belief that once again, they're not just going to let a character say something and it isn't especially elaborated on, especially for something like this in the Archon quest. That specific, like that sentence that she said is very on the nose considering the themes that are recurring in Genshin Impact. So whether it is Mavuika has already died and we're experiencing something separately, or we're going to experience something similarly to the Sacred Sakura, where things have already been planted, puns intended, and so we have to see how this will now play out. I do feel you are. I'm firmly of the belief that could be the case.
I remember I was talking about this in my Discord a couple weeks ago, but like I was also kind of thinking like, what if the Shade of Death is just trolling and she's like, yes, Mavuika, you will die someday. Everyone dies.
That's the thing, because like the Shade of Death's like, yes, Mavuika's death is necessary, but does it have to be now?
It's inevitable. Death is inevitable, you know? So it's like, I feel like that's the troll. It's I'm telling you this and you're gonna, like, now they're getting spooked. They're like, wait a minute, am I gonna die now? Am I like and she's like, I don't know, maybe.
My argument is that she already died because she was alive so long ago and like she had like a human lifespan, then gave her like self to the flames, right? So like I feel like she's already paid the price in advance. Like she's not alive.
Actually, you know what? That would be the price. I think that would be also kind of cool too, because like the price for her dying is like she didn't get to see her family again, or all of the stuff that she left behind. Like that's the price you paid. I think that would be an interesting like little twist. But
it's giving to me like how
prepaid.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you. I was just making a dumb joke.
I was basically going to say, even though it's not the exact same as Furina and Focalor, it's giving like, well, Mavuika, the Pyro Archon, is dead, and then Mavuika, as she exists after whatever's going to happen now, as a separate entity. But again, death can mean multiple things in this world, and I'm curious to know when Renova wants the debt to be paid. So,
Rue, that was so funny. I'm still laughing about that. She pre-ordered her death.
It would make her quote make sense though. The future, past, and present all existing at the same time.
So one thing then that I want to ask, with everything that we know now, 5.1, we know about Xbalanque, we know about the Sage, we know about, you know, the Phlogiston and everything. What, like, do you guys think anything has changed in terms of how you perceive the Reignition teaser? Like, the last scene with Mavuika talking to the fire?
Can you like watch it actually?
Because like, you know, she still talks to the fire and she's like, she's speaking directly to it, and she's like, close your eyes and feel, together with our blood we will forge our true fate. And I'm like, I still don't know what I still can't interpret that. Like, I don't know who that could be. I don't know who she's talking to or what that is.
Is there a chance we can collectively like rewatch it?
I don't know about collectively.
Yeah, collectively, no. That is curious though, because the next interlude chapter. So in English, the interlude in chapter 5 is called "All Fires Fuel the Flame," but I do think it's interesting how in different languages, it means the flames become one. Now, obviously, that can be, oh, it's everyone coming together. But thinking back to what Arnold just said.
She literally looking at the flame, she says, time to burn again. Even the tiniest spark will not go unnoticed. And then she says, did you catch everything? And then the perspective that she's talking to like has like the little fuzziness, and it's the flame that she's looking at.
Glitchy. It's glitchy.
What our eyes see ought to be our fate. But now close your eyes and feel. For with our blood we will forge our true fate. And she's talking to the fire, so I don't know who or what she's talking to here.
So isn't that fire the one that like shows all of the
Saurians, the Saurian tribes, yeah, like the Saurian symbols.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna rewatch this part again
unless it's like originally
I think she's basically calling on the warriors to awaken again. Like they did, you know,
like the ancient name bearers.
Stick. Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing where she's like, "Did you catch everything?" And then it's like,
yeah, she's like, "Did you catch everything?" And then like the little like blurriness.
Yeah, the blurriness. It reminds me so much of Sumeru's Samsara cycles. I'm sorry. Like,
also, I'm sorry because I feel like it wasn't a coincidence we had Nahida's second birthday thing. Or not but like, you know, her
Sabzerus festival.
Yes.
So good.
It was so good.
Do you guys want to transition and talk about that?
Honestly, yes, I think it was really cute. But I don't want anyone to like if they have any lingering thoughts. I would like
I mean, we can. I think we can shift back and forth. I mean, at this point,
I'm just rewatching this bit of the Ignition teaser to see if I have anything else to say. But I'm good to go to Nahida stuff.
Actually, I do want to quickly touch on the 5.2 trailer for a little bit. In regards to Ochkanatlan for a couple of points. So in the trailer, they showed that like there's an evil dragon that's kind of like guarding the place. Like it's basically hostile to anyone that tries to get close. Everyone that's gone there has pretty much like died off. Anyone that's gone there has never come back alive, essentially, is what they mentioned. I really liked there was a mural that they showed there, like in the special program, and I assume it's a mural of Ochkan, and he looks to have like phlogiston or like orange paint or gold paint like smeared on his face, which is interesting because like I assume it's like, oh, obviously he was the tyrant king, so no one appreciates him, so you know they're like desecrating a mural in his honor, and also like it's smearing his face, which is supposed to be like dragonic, like dragon-esque, like he has like dragon features. But the little creature that they showed off, I think the name of it is Kokuik. It's like this little creature that has the ability to like purify the abyss. And there's an NPC in the quest. Her name is Bona, and that name is kind of relevant because in the Cinder City artifact set, I believe it's the circlet. This tells of a warrior by the name of Taika, who was known as the strongest, like the mightiest warrior of the Flower Feather clan. I don't know when these events took place, but it said that he was like this mighty warrior that like won every battle he ever fought in against, like, you know, within the tribe for like training and sparring and stuff. And when the abyss encroached on the tribe, he had to like say goodbye to his wife and unborn child to go and fight in the abyss. And he apparently died, but before he died, he told his wife, if it's a girl, name her Bona, and she will grow up to become a formidable warrior. So she was unborn at that time, and now there's an NPC. If you go back and watch the trailer, she's with the traveler in that quest, and I think she and that little spirit creature are both traveling like and trying to like help kind of deal with the threat of the dragon and learning whatever secrets are there. And additionally, also from the Cinder City set is the goblet. And I think this is what will probably be like revealed during the overarching like Natlan, the overarching Ochkanatlan quest. It reveals that there are like a lot of secrets and curses within Ochkanatlan because, you know, this is essentially the Cinder City set is almost kind of like the sequel to the Unfinished Reverie.
Yeah.
And so it touches up on like the gargantuan beastly constructs that the king found there, which we now know are like the machines of the dragons and like the dragon civilization. But it says here, and I'm gonna read a little excerpt here. It says, until at last, in the depths of a forsaken city, he discovered a secret or perhaps a curse. This is from the perspective of a researcher. He discovered a secret or perhaps a curse that has been buried for thousands of years. Legend held that the Python king of Ochkanatlan once built a sky-faring treasure ship, and that within this ship was a secret prize that could drive the abyss beyond the bounds of this world. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed. My chat actually informed me of this, but if you look to Ochkanatlan right now, the cloud that's right above it is like specifically animated. And
Reddit post that was looking at the skybox, and it's like that. There's a cloud.
yeah.
That cloud is not in the skybox. That is a part of Ochkanatlan.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
I assume that like whatever this treasure sky-faring ship was like a device of some sort, and they also said within that ship is something that can drive the abyss from this world. So I don't know if this is like another humans trying to play God, right? Like the golden slumber, the golden troop. I don't know if this is the golden ship, but like, I mean, there's golden inscriptions all across Natlan. So I feel like it's just like another golden something that's trying to obfuscate fate or fight off against the abyss, and that might have been part of the downfall of Ochkanatlan in the end, because it's still rampant and overrun with the abyss. So that's just one thing that I'm like I popped off when I saw Bona, the name in the live stream, because I was like, wait a minute, that's the girl, that's the daughter from the I felt like I was crazy. I felt like no one knew what the hell I was talking about, but I was like, I read the lore yesterday, I know who that is. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure that and the girl is dressed up in Flower Feather Clan attire as well. So I'm really like, that's probably like the #1 reason why I'm excited for that too, is because like the Cinder City set and like all of the like tidbits of information that they've given us so far, and it has so much history. Like it started with Xilonen. Also, I think it's hilarious that Ochkan was like pretty much like the #1 Xilonen glazer. Apparently
Yeah.
he like apparently
Yeah.
bro loved Xilonen so much that he's like, you know what, there could like no one else is better than him. He's now gone, he's returned to the flame. And so that's when he went like down this tyrannical path, because he was like, I loved him so much, no one will be as good as him, so no one should be a god again. And so I thought that was so funny. But yeah, long story short, I'm so excited for Ochkanatlan. I'm ready.
I'm very hyped for it as well.
Wait, Arnold, could you say that you cannot wait for the update? Sorry guys.
There it is.
I had to make the joke. Wait, cannot wait. Sorry,
there it
I've
is.
already made this joke like
I know, but you've
20
now
million
made
times
it.
elsewhere.
But now hundreds of people have also heard it.
Oh,
No, that's-
is it a bad joke? Come on, it's a pun. Come on, guys, gotta get off the stream.
If it makes you feel any better, Sino deeply appreciates the joke you just made.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
I know he would.
Yeah, I'm gonna yoink that joint. Yoink that joke.
Yoink that joint! Oh my god!
Yoink the
I meant to say joke.
Arnold, you gotta smoke when I smoke. Give a good
Yoink
pump right now.
that
Woo.
joke.
Oh my gosh! Didn't know
Alright.
that kind of stream.
Okay, wait, but everything that Arnold said was like so encapsulating of like why this update is so exciting. It's like, well, like before, right? Like we had the Archon quest like very sequentially, and like for example, the Narcissus Croyd's like world quests were always like a side note, right? But I don't know. I wonder if they're trying to make this less of a side note, especially because in the 5.2 trailer, they mentioned Ochkan in a voice line. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why would he come up?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you
Yeah. So that that's either gonna be right on the outskirts too of the Flower Feather Clan as well. Also, me and Leah are going down into the depths of
We're going to hell.
of the lava. If you guys want to join us.
Oh my
We're
gosh,
going to hell together. Follow the light, Arnold.
Oh, hell yeah, the hell we'll see.
Oh, you guys are going to hell? Wait, I'm coming.
We'll meet you. We'll see you there. Catastrophe's Edge. This glass effect is so crazy cool.
I know.
So, like,
It's
are
very
we in, like,
cool.
the center of the earth, right? I feel like we're, like,
Are we?
we're literally in hell right now.
It reminds me of like Raiden, like her boss fight just shattering like the world and like how we like literally entered like another dimension.
Like her plane of
it has to be
Euphemia.
something like that, right? Yeah.
I feel like we're, like,
Say
this
that.
kind of giving, like, we're beneath the Earth's core.
I feel like
Like at the center
we're
of the-
in we're in
Oh.
Teyvat's core, but at a different place in time.
Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
wait, guys,
What-
guys, I also have something to say. Like, so the firmament we've known about since basically unmercantile stars, right?
Yes.
So, and all the imagery has been basically like breaking glass. It's like you're breaking through. It's like there's like crack, 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 crack. Right?
Mm.
One thing I thought was so interesting, and maybe I said this last time, maybe I forgot, but the fact that when Mavuika like shot through the sky, right?
Mm.
And it was like so glitchy. It was like nothing like we had like been prepared for. It was like it wasn't a shattering. It was like no. It was like very like digital, very like
Yeah,
computery.
she
like-
decoded.
like-
She decoded the firmament.
I know, right? And I feel like that made it so much scarier because it's like, ah, shit. Are we just code?
We're
Damn
not-
it!
We're just a dream. We're just a figment of a dream.
There was like an interview, and I wish I could find the source again. But Bruce, were you around in Conreal Lore Project back when it was like really popular? Because they are the ones that
Oh,
published it. But
I'm in KLP, but I don't know the sort of progression of ideas.
Maybe
but-
Kiryu remembers. There was like this interview that talked about like how the devs wanted to explore Gnosticism through the lens of a video game. I don't have the source for it, so I feel like I can't talk about it at length, but it was very interesting because it basically implied that like what happened in Simulanka might just happen in Teyvat as a whole. Like there is this like simulated worlds that
Yeah, the
like
real
the characters
world's
will
as
become
good as-
self-aware and break free.
Yeah, you're right. The fake world is just as real as the real world, guys.
I will,
Simulanka
I-
truly is the gift that keeps on giving.
I just did this world quest yesterday. I don't know if you guys can interact with like the inscription to come to where I am.
No, we can't
Can
because
you?
we're in co-op.
Wait, can I set like a waypoint here? I don't know. Hang on.
I don't
Like
know.
you know, like the disc structure that's here and broken. There's more of them in the live stream in Ochkanatlan region. I think like more of these like disc things that they talked about at the end of the world quest.
Well, yeah, that's
If I remember right, yeah.
that's the second half of the
Yeah, yeah.
trial. So
Yeah. The other discs are there or whatever.
yeah, and then we get to go to the volcano and
Yes.
and put that all together. Oh,
Yes.
can we talk about the night cat real quick? Because I don't think we talked about that at all in the last.
Yeah,
in
where
the
was
last,
the- I wanna see the cat. Where's the cat?
We did not.
Oh, we did not talk about the cat and the.
Wait,
Night
no,
Mountain.
Leah, the cat that says like, "Do not trust."
Yeah. I want to see the cat again.
Yeah, the cat was like, I'm like, who are you telling me not to trust? Like, I'm on this journey with my little Tapetlosaur. Where did this, whose cat is this? But, yeah, and then I don't know if you, there is another quest tied to the cat. Like, there's another interaction. I don't know if Leah's gotten to it yet, but I won't get any further than that. But yeah, there's just a lot of Night Kingdom stuff that's kind of...
I went to the Night Kingdom after doing the temple thing. That was
Oh.
actually something I wanted to talk about
Okay.
because we learned that the
That's what I was talking about.
obsidian stone is like how people communicated with the Wyob, right? And then
Yeah.
I just remembered how in the Scions of Canopy, like the nail-looking fragments covered with obsidian.
That is true. I don't know if I can go there. Yeah, I can't go there in co-op either.
Sad.
Yeah, a lot of these places are locked out, unfortunately.
Where can we go together?
Let's go to the Sulphurous Vein area. I love this place.
Sorry, can I just interrupt real quick?
Sure.
I am so sorry. I need like 3 to 5 minutes to take my new doggo out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Go
so
for it.
I'll be back soon.
We-
Okay, so
We will be
if I'm
here.
quiet, you guys know why. So,
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back in a few. Thank you.
This place is so gorgeous. And shout out to the Guardians, the last Conrian soldiers that were here.
The Giga Chads.
I will be
love
your
this place.
shield.
I will be your sword. This really was a cool first taste.
Now I have to wonder what the world quest and Ochkanatlan are going to be like. Goodness gracious.
I wonder if there's gonna be I guess I would assume so, like some more of those like little random encounters with your Tapetlosaur, just because like we got like all of those like random one-off moments where we were like gathering like those little mementos for our teapot with them already. And so now that we have like the Masters of the Night Wind area, the Flower Feather Clan area, I'm assuming they're gonna going to be on our journey with us. Yeah, they are going to be on the Ochkanatlan world quest with us as well. I'm wondering how many more like little memories we're going to make with them. I'm so sad. I'm already like lamenting, especially after we go to that like one area with the Golden Entreaty and we heard the music, and I'm like, this is literally just a sad version of the song we hear when we first meet our little Tapetlasaur, and I'm like, wow. And they're like fighting with us, and they're like risking life and limb. They're just going up. They're just having a good time, it seems.
Also,
I love it.
I of course will wait for Rue to return, but on the mentions of first journeys, I do think it would be interesting to talk about Nahida's first birthday that we recently celebrated.
Nahida's
Yes.
birthday! I have so much to say. I will also wait for Rue, but
Yeah.
I have so much to say. Also, look, it's one of
Because I'm looking at the Serenity Pot indoor furnishing that you get, which is the photo of everyone. It just made me so emotional.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, Sumeru.
I know Sumeru just stays common W for Sumeru. It's like I expected nothing less, and that was so
Like,
funny too, because in our last conversation, in our last discussion, we were literally I remember asking like all of you what your favorite nation was, and we were all like Sumeru.
Well, it's also like when I think of all of the nations in terms of story, I think Sumeru really was the one that really got me to be like, okay, how are we going to save this Archon? Because up until that point, it just felt like either really hands off or you're just trying to get to know things.
Yeah.
And to me, it just felt like Sumeru was more personal, and then Fontaine was deeply personal, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I need to breathe. Yay, Mavuika's going to do her own thing now. I don't have to stress out.
What do you guys think Liben's gonna say about hopefully Snezhnaya?
I think Liben's going to be like,
It's cold
you
there.
have journeyed very far, and you're going to one of the most dangerous places. I wouldn't set foot there. There's a lot of stuff happening there.
Yeah,
Good luck
basically.
to you. Good luck to you, and I hope to see you again in a future area. That's what Liben's gonna say.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh, the Tsaritsa is gonna do something in Snezhnaya, and it's not a good idea to go there. But
He's
you're
like, oh,
going anyway, aren't you?
It's a bit colder than normal. I wonder what they're planning.
The Fatui have noted that the Tsaritsa has been colder of late. We'll never know as to why. You will definitely go there because you're the traveler, but hey, who knows?
Liben, we need you.
That's basically what's gonna happen.
I need you to liberate us.
Oh.
Oh,
If you're
wait.
using Peach,
We're going to Snezhnaya. We're gonna have Tartaglia more. It's so awful.
What? We're gonna have Tusser and Anton and Tonya and I think his other brother or his other sibling that we
Colombina?
don't know about.
I'm excited for Colombina. Tartaglia.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. You know what? Here's something that I think I would like to talk extensively about. You just mentioned Colombina. Yesterday I finished reading all of the Seelie, Celestia, and Moon Sisters lore for the first time yesterday. And so I read like all of the tiaras from like the Age of the Envoys and stuff like that. And there was I forgot what story.
Drunkard's Tale, the Seelie.
Oh my god, yeah, the Drunkard's Tale,
wolf.
the first Seelie and the wolf and all that other stuff. And I was like, is that Colombina? Is the one singing? The one with the maiden with the fair skin and the singing and all of that?
I really hope so. I think
so
she's
much
definitely a Seelie, considering she
stuff.
looks like an angel, she sings like an angel, and Seelies are angels.
I also watched the Moonlit Bamboo Forest animation, the one that was from Hoyo Fair. It was so well done. It was so good. It was like a 12-minute animation, which basically like retold the entire events of the book. Which also like told the tale of the Moon Sisters, which was super cool. I've always heard like whispers of the Moon Sisters, but like I didn't actually like read any of that lore until just yesterday, which was like super cool.
Yeah, it's
And all of that lore has
that's
been in the game since like 1.0 too.
Exactly. It's stuff I dug into a very long time ago, and then only yesterday I was rereading some of the stuff. Like I reread Records of Jiyun Volume 4.
Yep, I read that too yesterday. Yep.
The Moonlight bamboo forest section that talked about Seelies and the Moon Sisters and how they love the stars and everything.
God.
And yeah, it's been such a long time since I read all that because it has been in the game for so long. You forget things if you don't keep up with it.
I'm convinced Venti wrote the Drunkard's Tale. Like, I don't think I can be convinced just because, like, you know, it mentioned too a wispy wind spirit helped create apples. Like, I think it was apple cider, like the first fermented apple in Mondstadt. And I was like, that's literally Venti.
Yeah.
I love learning about the Seelie. Like, when I first learned about the Seelies and the Moon Sisters, prehistoric, like very ancient history has always been fascinating to me. So I really, really hope we get more. Also, just a side note, I would very much so appreciate if we get the other collections of the Pale Princess, please. We are in Natlan.
Yeah.
So
Same thing with the Traveler. Like, the Traveler's other character
the Traveler
stories.
stories. Yeah. I guess all of the Pale Princess stories are just going to be in a library or something in Snezhnaya or in Conria when we go there.
Yeah.
But learning more, like the more and more, like, you learn about the Seelie and the Moon Sisters and the tragedy that befell them. It's so heartbreaking because even to this day, like it came until Natlan really that it was front and center learning about Seelies and Angels more. Mind you, I still desperately want like a little mini Seelie event that actually has lore, not just the treasure based one. I want like an actual, because like one of the ones that I really, really liked was the Heart of Springs event that we had. I would like something like that with either the Drunkard's Tale or Records of Julian. Like, I would really appreciate that because the Seelies, Moon Sisters, and Angels as a whole are some of the oldest beings in Teyvat, and learning of their fate and just getting a glimpse as to what they know is fascinating. Because need I remind you, King Deshret, the silliest man, fell in love with an angel, and she revealed the secrets of the stars and the abyss to him because he was so determined to rebel against Celestia. Even after they were like, here's a gnosis, and he was like, no thank you, I'm rebelling against you. So like, I want to know more about the Seelies. That'd be awesome. So
when Rue comes back, remind me to bring up the Heavenly Principles. I do want to talk.
I'm back.
Oh,
welcome
back. I manifested.
So we can talk about the Heavenly Principles.
I manifested.
Want.
Oh my god, that was not planned, chat. I promise. So.
Well, no, you guys were talking, so I was just like here lurking a little.
Yeah,
bit.
I didn't even know when you came back, so that's so funny. So, I wanted to bring up this kind of like, just to kind of gauge your thoughts on the topic. So I was doing a little trolling as I tend to do here and there on the old twitter.com, and I tweeted something intentionally trying to like elicit a reaction just to kind of gauge people's thoughts on it in terms of like where we are right now with Genshin 5.2, the situation, all of our perspectives on like the plot and like the end game and everything. And I said Celestia did nothing wrong, and oh boy, did a lot of people have opinions on that.
Oh my goodness, I did not see that.
I have so many thoughts on this, so I am ready.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of have this thought discussion about, I guess, kind of how easy it is, or rather how easy Hoyoverse is making it. And they've done this from the start of the game, right? Initially, I would say it started with the Fatui, right? We start the game in Mondstadt. Oh, this Fatui organization, they're messing with this dragon. They're doing some shady business. You know, La Signora, she like attacked Venti. They're the bad guys, right? And then patches and patches later, we realize that things aren't that black and white with the Fatui, and they clearly are painted as the villains until you get a sense of perspective. I genuinely, I don't know when I think this started last year after we finished the Fontaine Archon quest. And I said to myself, in the video, in my stream, I said, Hoyoverse is making it really easy for us to dislike Celestia because of the repercussions of mankind and all the things that have been happening, because they're kind of in the dark too. Like, I don't even think anyone really knows about the Heavenly Principles or the Primordial One, the Shades, and pretty much like how the world was made for their survival or for their, for their existence. And I genuinely think that Celestia has humanity's best interest at heart. Now, the best of intentions, what's the line? line, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, you can always see the situation of like, well, Celestia clearly hasn't only done right, especially when you look at it from the perspective of the dragons and, you know, the moral dilemma of that. But yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think of this whole thought of like Celestia not really being the bad guys.
My thoughts about this is that Celestia is essentially Decorabian. I think there's a reason why the first story quest we got was Ventes, and it had this whole plot of like basically authoritarian tyrant Decorabian trying to control the population of Mondstadt from leaving Mondstadt because it was too dangerous for them to go outside because the blizzards were too strong and Andreas would not stop them. But humanity still found a way to break out anyway, because I think those are the same themes we're going to have in Teyvat later on. I think they're gonna scale it up to be something that's like all of Teyvat, basically. So especially, I don't know if you guys remember Venti's Windbloom poem to the Traveler. It was the very first Windbloom, but it was like something about going off into the night. Like it was then that I actually had these thoughts, like way back in patch 1.4 or something, 1.5, I forget. But I would have to bring up the exact poem, but there was a lot of foreshadowing that they're going to try to break free from Celestia's control. And that it's not just that Tsaritsa doing this, but that it's like a greater plot against Celestia. It's like the Abyss is still the enemy, but Celestia can't just put Teyvat under lock and key, especially when Teyvat is kind of caught in this proxy war between like the powers of Celestia or like the light element or whatever in the Abyss. I think that's going to be like what we encounter in the end game.
Sure.
And that Celestia is basically like Decorabian trying to protect Teyvat, but also harming it and its people and the Archons in the process.
Okay. Rue, what do you think?
Oh, I have a very complicated thought process about this because, okay, so in Sumeru we had a world quest, a major world quest related to Conrio. It makes it important by default. Called Caverna of Good and Evil, which seems to be a reference to Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, especially when you consider that all the associated achievements are also Nietzsche references, like the camel. No, it was like the child, the camel and lion type thing. And the entire point is that morality is like subjective. There's a grayscale, right? So it's not that Celestia are the good guys. It's that they could have good intentions, but as the saying goes, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So it's like they could be, even if the intention was super pure, the reality is very different. So I think there's going to be a lot of blurring of like what is good, what is not. I think that's the entire point, honestly. Like
do you think that's the entire point of like humans breaking free from their control or from their authority?
I think that's no, that is an essential part because so if you imagine like this creator like creating a society, being like, hey, you guys are cool, and then things start going south, and then suddenly there are these cycles of destruction. It feels like humanity, like, and free will is like trying to break away, but they want to keep control. But it's not that they're bad. It's like they have their points where it's like, oh, you guys don't know what you're doing. You guys do not know what you're getting yourself into.
I have the same thought process on that specifically.
Well, I think that was like the point of Mondstadt though, right? Like Decorabian felt the same way towards the people of Mondstadt. He's like, why do you guys want to go outside in the blizzard where there's a god literally trying to kill you all? And so he never let anyone go outside. But then the people of Mondstadt were like, we don't care, we want freedom. Like, we should have the freedom to choose. You can't make that decision for us. And so they overthrew Decorabian, ended up just winning out in the end. So I feel like we're gonna have that same plot but scaled up. I just wonder if it will end the same way. Like, if humanity will be punished for breaking free from Celestia's grasp, or if they'll actually like find their path outside of Teyvat.
And actually that's a good point, because I think all these like sub-stories we have about like Decorabian, Ritas, Deshret feels a little bit more important, but in the grand scale, like it's like there are all these sub-stories where it's like fueling into this bigger story, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like people want their free will and maybe they can't get it, but they really, really want, right? And maybe it's this question of like, is this a good or bad idea? If like humans can make their own decisions, right? Like, I mean, like, to be honest, like right now, I would say bodies because I'm like, people can't make good decisions on their own, so I gotta help them out. So I understand. I can see where I can see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
Like you love this creation and you want them to do the best, and it's like, how much control is too much control? How much is like, do I love them this much, or like giving them the freedom? It's just a question of free will, I think.
Yeah. Kiryu, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts have been covered or discussed from like across everyone here already. But it's more so for me when we learned more about Phanes and we learned more about how it appears every single time something would happen in the mortal world, an ancient civilization would be destroyed. Celestial nails came down to stop abyssal spread. Seemingly, Celestia wants to destroy humanity, keep them in check. It gave me very much so, and this is a very loose analogy of a parent wanting to control their child and not wanting them to have their own like life and free will because they focus so much like just on you must be safe. You need to follow what I'm telling you.
Like a helicopter parent.
Yeah. And while Celestia like makes nuance and there's a lot of gray area with Genshin because I have always been of the belief that Leah has mentioned, and I talked about this extensively previously, like probably about a year or two ago, with another friend who's really deep into Genshin Impact lore, how Mondstadt is very much so what happened with Decorabian is just what is happening with the Heavenly Principles. And now it appears as though they're quote unquote backing off, but it's not the case. They're just asleep. And I do feel that Phanes truly wants what's best for humanity, even if that is the cost of having to reset things over and over and over, because humanity needs to understand that what I'm doing for them is right, even if they do not see it.
My
Trigger anything with like the with like the parent analogy. And of course, I'm not by any means.
Oh, Kiryu, you cut out.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think your internet might be.
Yeah, it's doing its thing after recovering. I'm sorry.
It's not
okay,
recovering.
it's okay.
It's fine. Fine. No, we got this. It's fine.
TLDR, Phanes is like, I want to make sure that my creations in this world are how I would like for them to be, and their free will be cut if necessary because they must behave, and I know what's best for them.
Yeah,
and then when you see throughout history, humanity will always rebel. Humanity will always rise above, regardless of how much you try to stop them.
Right.
It is inevitable. You cannot stop how they wish to view their own lives. Like, you don't know the extents of the universe. You don't know the dangers of the cosmos. You don't know what I know. But humanity is very much so. We are humanity. We will find a way, and we will break out of this cycle. We will break out of your control regardless, because we are our own people. So that's how I feel. I think, again, Celestia may have the best intentions in their eyes, but it's already been covered. What you think may be good for your creations, thinking about like, and even when I think how like Reindotir creating Albedo and being like, okay, well, you're my magnum opus, go have fun. Just make sure that you know the truth of the world. And it's like with Phanes is like, okay, well, no, these I need you to
like
just do what I'm telling you. Do what I am trying to like tell you, and understand I am doing this out of love and concern. Like, please. And humanity's like, let's break out of the firmament.
Yeah. The thing about this.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
My problem with so like I agree that like Celestia probably has like Decorabian. Decorabian had Mondstadt's best interests at heart, and maybe that's the same for Celestia to the world of Teyvat. But the problem is like the Heavenly Principles are not originally from here. They kind of came here and like claimed the land, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna kick out all the dragons and fight them, and like Nibelung literally swallowed like an abyss pill to like try and fight back, and it backfired on him. And there's like a whole lot of other context there that makes it so that I can't fully see, like, even if they have good intentions, I can't see them as the good guys, because at the end of the day, this like was not originally their land to even have that control over in the first place. It's kind of like they adopted the land forcefully, you know.
I wouldn't say adopted the land. I think it's kind of colonized. But
that's the word I wanted to say.
I intentionally honestly, like when I made that tweet, like I knew I would I knew I'd get the colonize, you know, people would mention the colonization, people would mention the usurping of the dragons, and you know, a lot of people mention like Focalors and Fontaine. I think there's a lot of like set in stone like expectations that the primordial one has. For example, I completely understand the perspective of like, I created humans. What Egeria did goes against my creations. I do not acknowledge those Oceanids as humans, and so therefore, you know, that's why I punished her, and that's why I didn't do anything about the prophecy. I let it play out because that's, you know, that's the end goal of her actions at the very least. But yeah, I do think that there is going to be some type of reckoning in terms of like the end game, because all of these things that are happening in Teyvat, like the heavenly principles, I don't think they know any of this stuff is happening because they're sleeping. I think they're sleeping. I think they've been sleeping ever since Dragon King Nibelung at the very, well, I assume the fight with Dragon King Nibelung like messed them up, and then the you know, the Conria disaster 500 years ago, I assume that was just like a knee-jerk put a band-aid on it, you know, situation, like we can't properly take care of this because I'm still recovering or whatever. And so with them still sleeping, I feel like the situation that's going to play out is humans are eventually going to undo everything, and when the heavenly principles does wake up, the abyss is going to be at its peak. And I feel like Thanos is gonna wake up, look outside of his like city in the sky, look down at Teyvat, and everything is just gonna be in shambles because bro took a nap while his kids ran amok, and he wasn't able to keep them
like in the manga, right? Or the webtoon when Venti woke up and he's like, hey, that wasn't there before.
Yeah, right. And it's giving like when Phanes wakes up and then he's just like, I'm sorry, Focalors did what? I'm sorry, what is happening in Natlan? You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I by no means you know, like completely agreeing in the sense that and not saying you guys are, but like Celestia is completely in the right or anything like that, but it is interesting to see the different perspectives across the different factions that we have come to learn. And as we get closer to the end of the game, Hoyoverse absolutely is going to be like, hey, this is the reason why Celestia is doing what it's doing, and we're going to show you, and it's going to be very dramatic. Please look forward to it.
Yeah.
Because we're just getting a little bit about the dragon. So
you know how in Chevreau's story, it was like that event story, there was this like moral debate and there wasn't like a concrete answer. Like at the end of it, it was kind of left to the audience interpretation.
Oh,
I wonder if it's gonna be like that, where we're gonna see the reasons for why Celestia did what they did, and there's not going to be like any justification for anything.
No, it is actually going to be like that, because like the things that I want to scream from the rooftops is like, even though I'm like #1 Conria Simba, I love the Conrians, I'm like fighting for them, but I think
they were mad sus too. Like, let's
Hoyo is going for this like gray area of like, who is right, who's wrong? No one. That's the answer. It's like, and I think Chevreau's like story, because there was like there was so much to it.
I just want to say from the Chevreau's like the event, that guy definitely died. Like they definitely like let him die. Like they definitely like let them get their revenge for that guy that went to jail. Like Risley, especially for Risley, like literally with his whole backstory, I guarantee Risley would be like, yeah, you can kill that guy for if that's what he did to you. Like,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Wait, sorry, finish.
That's fine. No. You can go on.
I was just gonna say, I actually think Risley would agree with what Chevreau did.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I mean, we were at a lunch table and Risley was like, yeah, my parents are awful, so I killed them. Bye. We're just like, and then it was just, all right, back to the Fontaine Archon quest.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I appreciate. He's just a guy doing his job.
But yeah,
it was honest about it.
Another thing too that I had a conversation with someone about this too, about like humans are arrogant too. You know, like Kari Bear, for example. I know, like, and this is where we get into like the back and forth of it. Like Kari Bear's situation, I would think, is more a result of Conria fucking around and finding out than like the heavenly principles like allowing all of this stuff to happen. You know what I mean? Like like Kari Bear like becoming the Luma Fate and eventually and inevitably dying is a result of the humans that Thanos created thinking they could harness and control the abyss, and having the arrogance to think they can do that on their own without any gods overlooking them, or you know, thinking that they were to that degree. So that is in my opinion, I feel like that is the extreme that like Thanos, that's why that just reinforces his actions. I think that would reinforce his actions.
And that's one of the things why I find, just really quickly, I just want to mention that across all of the different civilizations, factions, etc. in this game, there is no just one straight answer. And I appreciate the gray areas that are being presented.
Same.
Because it's not black and white. It isn't. There are many aspects where you can clearly see like, oh, this was terrible. And then you look further and you're like, okay, this is a bit suspicious. And of course, everyone will have different perspectives at the end of the day. But again, I do appreciate, one, I really love this discussion.
Same.
But I also really like how this narrative is going to be presented, because there will not be just one right answer, because it's going to be that kind of dilemma. So yeah, but you were saying, Leah?
Oh no, I was just gonna say something very similar. Like, I'm just basically gonna say what you said, but in my own words. Like, I think that's like the point, like what Arnold was talking about. Like, because if you go too far into the Abyss's perspective, like you can find justifications for what they're doing too, but it doesn't make them right.
We just don't have the Abyss's perspective. Like, we don't know what.
We don't have it yet.
What they could be doing is justified from their perspective, and the dragons feel wronged because Thanos moved in and created the human realm, and then you got the humans that are like, there are some that are like, hey, we're fine with how things are, and then there are others that are like, no, we need to be in charge.
Yeah, we don't have the Abyss's perspective. We just have like the effects of their actions.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the Withering in Sumeru is like the best example, because like look at how it affects the forest. Look at how the Aranara suffer and what happened to a Pep after she ate Deshret like a snack. And
and the thing too is like, this is all by design. Like, and like us as we are conditioned ultimately to care about the characters we're involved with whenever we go to each nation. So when we see the characters that we love, suffering or being affected negatively by the world, we try to look for a target. We try to look for, okay, who's to blame, so we can potentially help make it better.
Ironically too, like Celestia, I have to reiterate that I definitely do not believe Celestia are the good guys. But when you think about the chasm, for example, like the celestial nail dropped there, right? And it affects like the local ore and gives you stuff like lumen stone, which repels the abyss. And actually Shenha's like abyss weapon, Calamity Queller, is made of that same ore that basically repels the abyss. And they like, if you there's like two shadowy figures like from Conria that are still there in some area in the chasm that literally touch on the Calamity Queller's like lore, and they actually like borrowed it for a bit and used it. I think, if I'm remembering right, like there's like a whole side story there. It's really interesting. But like they use the power of Celestia to repel the abyss, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like I'm just tired of this narrative that Celestia are just like awful, because like they threw like the nails, for example, like they're direct, like at the end of the day, the Abyss are a threat to everything. They're a threat to the dragons, they're a threat to the humans. So, obviously everything, it seemed like in the beginning, Teyvat was very self-contained with the dragons in the light realm and all of the elemental energies, and there was no abyss, there was no like forbidden knowledge until like Dragon King Nibelung, and then eventually King Deshret, and then that's why the world is in such a chaotic state. The ley lines are weakening, the abyss is encroaching, they're getting stronger and stronger as time goes on, and like now it's not a matter of if but when, the straw breaks the camel's back, and then like the abyss is like all hands on deck. So I really do think like it's a matter of like they're babysitting. They tried guiding humanity up into a certain point, and then the abyss caused like a disconnect of communication, and the humans have just been like running, like they've been winging it ever since, to the point where I feel like a lot of the transgressions that have happened over the course of history always comes back to fate, and that fate somehow being tangentially tied into the rulers of this world, and that they're the problem, and if they were gone, everything would be better. I actually think if Celestia was gone, everything would probably be at an all-time worse. And I just think like I in my mind's eye, my headcanon, call it what you will, I think when we get to Celestia, they're going to give us Celestia's perspective, and it's only going to further gray things out.
It's going to be like, hey, Celestia keeps trying to protect humanity, and humanity keeps doing X, Y, and Z, so they keep resetting things over and over.
Yeah,
it's just like this.
And meanwhile, the abyss is just laughing all the way. They're laughing all the way to the freaking bank.
If you asked me, I'd say I'm Team Humanity because I think one major element in Genshin is that like so many stories are about breaking past historical cycles. It's like every so often the next generation of people that come along, they do the same mistakes as the past generation and they never break the cycles. Like even though it's different people, it's still like the same essence of what happened in the past, and they can't, whether it's against the Abyss or like a punishment from Celestia, they keep facing the same things over and over. And I'm really hoping that like the Traveler and the Abyss Twin are going to be like what frees Teyvat from both like the clutches of the Abyss and Celestia. Like I don't want to say that like Celestia helps fight the Abyss, but the Abyss also helps keep Celestia in check. You know what I mean? Like Celestia has good intentions and everything, but like it's
equilibrium. They even each other.
Yeah, there's an equilibrium right now, and but at the same time, they're like basically using Teyvat for their like proxy war against each other.
It's your, it's your sandwich analogy.
Yeah. So you gotta open the sandwich and take the meat out and
and just eat bread.
Make it its own dish. I don't know. Get rid of the bread.
Be happy with
it's unhealthy. Use lettuce. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like Teyvat and the people here and the Archons too, they're caught in between all this. Like this is what Venti was saying too when he first sent us on our journeys. Like all of these elements, the Fatui, the Abyss, everything is part of your journey. Like just listen to it all, look at it all.
I think this will be like kind of like the final point that I'll make on it. This all kind of came to a head. Like I started thinking about this more often after Act 4 when we found out that phlogiston was used as a base for elemental energy. Because phlogiston on its own cannot combat the Abyss. So if the Abyss ever encroached on the dragons, they would have been fucked. Like if anything, humanity and so actually, if you want to think about it, like given the current situation of Teyvat now, Celestia gives Teyvat the best fighting chance against the Abyss. Granted, it was never a part of like the situation, but because of, you know, everything that happened, the Abyss is here. It's here to stay. We got to combat it. Celestia's involvement in creating humanity, creating elemental energies. I genuinely believe that Thanos decided, oh my God, Leah, that noise is so annoying. Get out of here. Someone in my chat's like, the shark noise, no. But I genuinely believe that Thanos came here with the intention of creating an arc for humanity, and by doing so, like inevitably came to the decision of realizing the Abyss is here. How can I best protect humanity? Take phlogiston, turn it into elemental energy, appoint 7 generals, 7 archons, give them gnosis, so then that power can trickle down to visions, so humans can defend themselves against the Abyss. And that was when I started thinking, wait a minute, if that's true, then Thanos isn't like the big boogeyman, the bad guy. It's if you want to take it up with like their first transgression with the dragons, be my guest, I can't defend them there. As time has gone on, I feel like they've done just as much to kind of guide humanity and safeguard humanity from themselves, from outside forces. But I definitely think that, you know, again, by the end, I think a lot of this stuff is really just going to come down to where does the puck stop with you? Like where do you feel like humanity, like you're on Team Humanity, you're on Team Abyss? And our sister is, you know, believes in the Abyss to an extent, right? At least harnessing it through the Abyss Order. Obviously the primordial Abyss is like the bad, like the overarching villain. But yeah, I just think that it's very interesting, like to have all of these conflicting perspectives. And despite how I framed it, I actually really liked seeing everyone's thoughts. There were some people that were like, no, Thanos doesn't care about humans. He cares about protecting the planet, not the people on it. And I'm like, look, like relax. Like I feel like it's more than just the rock that we're on. But yeah,
I love conversations like these discussions. Like they're fun. Like it's really good, and it's really nice having just the different perspectives of everyone that we'll meet. So, and like you said, we'll definitely learn Celestia's side more. Because I don't have to remind anyone that Snezhnaya is next, not even, I don't want to say like
less than a
next year. It's less than a year. It's like 8 or so months.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped. Oh my God.
Bronya supremacy, guys.
Can't wait to see Bronya. And then Sea of Flowers and Orconria, we'll see. And then
Venti's second story quest, Ludi Harpastum.
Yes.
Prage.
Oh, speaking of, I was waiting until Rue came back.
Yes.
What is everyone's thoughts and feelings as to celebrating Miss Nahida's birthday and actually having the Sabzerus Festival.
I
I just want to say, first and foremost, I did get emotional, the ending cutscene, because it was verbatim what she was saying when she first woke up in a flower carriage. And I was like, oh my gosh. But go ahead.
Beautiful,
I want you
and
guys to go first.
Yes.
It was so beautiful, and I have so many thoughts, but Arnold, go first.
No. You go first. I just finished yapping. I was actually going to say that. I was going to say I'm not going first because I just finished yapping, so you go first.
Oh, damn. Okay. So in general, like, despite the VA strike, like, which it seems like it, well, at least on like Genshin's end, they could have a resolution. But in general, beautiful event. I really loved it. Loved seeing all the characters. I think my two important takeaways was the fact that the Wedget Eye was like basically a camera, like distilling memories.
Yeah.
And second of all, one thing that was very pertinent to like some recently previous thoughts. How Nahida was like, oh, but what if this is all a dream? And I was like,
Oh yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah, there was that.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, please don't, not again. I just caught up with Pinaconi's story now. Please.
Penaconi's peak.
Pikaconian.
So those two things were like most like present on my mind. But like, okay, so I did basically I made a video recently about this whole idiot god being a dreamer type of thing, where it's like, oh guys, like I know a lot of people hate like, oh, it was all a dream, but like, what if like the god is like some sort of inept, or like just, I don't know, just some dude dreaming, and it's like kind of terrifying. But like I feel like the fact that Nahida's birthday, considering that falls on, like, that's the Sabzerus festival, right? And like now we're being brought up with it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, what if it is a dream? But like in a very existential horror way, where it's like, oh my god, like,
does the dream end? Does the dream end if you acknowledge you're in it? Like, we're not lucid dreaming because we don't know we're in a dream, but like, I wonder what happens once we realize we're in a dream. Like, if anything happens at the, like, existentially. But yeah, that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
So one connection I made, like, a lot of people have like pointed out that like Gasoithoth? Or is it
Gosoithoth? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Obviously, like a Lovecraft reference, but also like a character in like another Honkai game. But like Lovecraft referenced Lord Dunsany, who was like super efficient, really into like cosmic world building, and he created a god called Mana Yud Sushai, who created all the other gods, and he fell asleep, and then his son who was the drummer, like, was drumming a beat, and he can't stop because if he were to stop the beat, Mana Yud Sushai would wake up and destroy the universe. You know, that type of thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Oh, well, wait, sorry. This is also, like, very present on my mind because this is from the gods of Pagana. So if you play Star Rail, Pagana is the homeworld of Akavili. So.
Yo, the Hoyoverse.
Oh.
So, no, and Lovecraft very obviously got inspiration from Dunsany. This is like fact. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Sorry, I'm word vomiting at this point. I'm just getting
no,
so
that's
excited
really
about
cool.
these I'm getting so excited about these references because like the actual like when you read like these stories, it's like, oh shit, this is super cool, but also, oh shit, what does this mean? Anyway, sorry. Okay, I'm done for now. Everyone else has the floor.
Okay, so I'll just say I felt like the third act of the Nahida event was like Kavarna of Good and Evil Part 2 because we got to see the Pari. They talked about Nabu Malikata and like they basically and I don't know if you guys checked it out though, but like the NPCs were voiced in English, so they actually had the English voice for Sarouge, and she sounds so different than I thought. Her initial dialogue, the way I read it back during 3.7 or 3.8 when I did it, I felt like she was very condescending, and but like she's so much more likable because I know what she sounds like, and she's very just like, she's got like that cutesy spunk to her when she talks, and that's kind of the way, that's her inflection, that's how she was talking in the event, and I was like, oh wow, I actually thought she came off I thought she was actually way more aggressive and condescending during the Kavarina quest initially, and I loved seeing the Aranara hidden around the city, and they actually had the Pari, all three of them, right? Rashnu, Mihir, and Sarush. I actually switched to my Sarush pet during the event because I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I love it. Kavarina of Good and Evil, I think, is my favorite world quest in the game. So having
that's my favorite world quest.
Yeah. So having that be like, you know, she mentioned Simurg and she mentioned how the Pari were created. I was just like, oh my god, guys, like I literally did this event, and they're like, it's brought back. Sumeru never misses. Another W for this nation, I swear to God. And yeah, I loved it. I love the birthday thing too. Like I completely overwrote all of the depressing like vibes of Nahida's teaser of like the flower carriage, and you know, I even said in the in my stream of that event that like it's kind of like one of the endings. We got one of the endings where like the Knight of Flowers and his retainers found me, you know? Like that was basically
Flower carriage.
Yeah.
It's admittedly, so I play the game usually in Korean. So when I heard Sarush's voice, I was like, oh, I didn't think that she would sound like this. And it did give me a different perspective as to how I got a different understanding and perspective of her character, like you said. And I also just appreciate, like, she's just adorable, like, and a lot of her dialogue. I do also appreciate how they ended up taking the Wedged Eye to the Temple of Silence, because yes, I love me some Temple of Silence. Sino's second story quest was very good.
Yes.
Really, really good. Also, I love how you can still go there. I love how you can go there at any time.
That's insane that you can still, like,
you can just go
wild.
there.
Yeah. That was like a permanent addition.
I also love how as you approach it, it is invisible until you're able to get it. Like that's just so cool. But I really enjoyed Nahida's like birthday, because after everything that happened in Sumeru, it was just a very big, it's like a sigh of relief, and it's happy, like it's a happy moment because she is able to be free and enjoy her birthday because her allies and friends are there to be there to celebrate it with her. Very emotional quest. I do think it was really, really nice to have Candace also. Having more in the forefront, because I love Candace so much. I think she's such a cool character. And I also like how they tease like I could see like kind of entertained, like, oh, are you having visions of the future? Is it because of your eye? And then Alhaitham proposed, no, it may not be the future. You may be viewing events of the past. And I'm like,
yeah,
why?
I thought it was crazy. I'm like, bro, Alhaitham was right after all, damn it. But yeah, I take quests very seriously to a fault sometimes. And so I was pretty on guard the entire quest. I felt like something was gonna I was like, okay, what's the conflict gonna be during this event? Who's gonna ruin Nahida's birthday? What force do we have to stop? And every time something, like even something remotely happened, my ears, I was on alert. And I just felt like I was debated the entire quest, because at every turn it was just a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. Like the one moment where Kave and Alhaitham were talking, I didn't know it was them, and so I was just hearing like little bits and pieces, and I'm like, oh my god, someone's trying to like sabotage the parade. And then it's just like, no, it's just Kave and Alhaitham talking, and we're getting broken pieces of their conversation, and I literally made that up in my head. And it was like that the entire quest, and I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I wonder if this was intentional. Like and at some point, like even with like Alhaitham, like he was like, yeah, I don't think it's that serious. I don't think you're like seeing the future. I just think like you're seeing the past. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Alhaitham, what do you know? Apparently a lot, because he was right.
Alhaitham is so annoying. Oh my gosh. No, but once again, it just reiterates the like it brings me back to what Mavuika said during the Archon quest, how the past, present, future happen all at once. And sorry, I'm still on the fact that Alhaitham's like, oh, well, actually, you probably viewed something from the past. Like, what? Okay. Sure.
Shot in the dark.
Sure. And then I will say though, I do love how he said, I'm sorry, whatever you guys are doing is not within my job description. I am leaving. I have to respect that. I have to respect it.
He's great.
Honestly, in general, I just feel like whoever's in charge of writing Sumeru's stuff just like gets what the audience wants, because I have not experienced so much joy in the Genshin quest in a very long time. Like, yes, the Archon quests have been very, very interesting in Natlan, but like I just feel like everyone was characterized so perfectly. It was so beautifully written. It didn't drag on either. It was like very short and sweet, and I got everything I wanted out of it. I will say, so Ether, or I guess I play as Ether, but whoever traveler you play as, suggesting to take a photo reminded me, because Bedtime Story happened not too long ago, right? And even though they don't remember the conversation they had with their twin, they were still given that photo. Like, you check your inventory, you still have a photo there to remember, even though like they forgot all the events of it. And I honestly feel like that's why the traveler doesn't feel rushed to get to the end anymore, and is kind of relaxing, because they understand that their twin is like out there somewhere and is still like paying attention to them. They haven't abandoned them. I feel like there's a little bit of closure there. They're not desperate like they were during We Will Be Reunited. So I think them offering to take a photo, especially in the context of like how everyone forgot Ruka Devada except for the traveler, it's just chef's kiss. Like, it's a callback to Bedtime Story, and like just not wanting to forget all the good things that happened to Nahida, you know?
I also think it's probably just like maybe in the back of his mind, maybe, you know, because I don't think he's ever like expressed. I also play as Aether, so from my perspective, but like the journey will one day come to an end, and you know, I don't know if Aether will be able to take, depending on what the truth of this world is, I don't know if Aether can take these mementos with him when he leaves, or if it's like these mementos are a product of they're the property of Teyvat. You cannot take them when you leave. But like I've noticed he starts doing that more often, like even, and that's something I personally appreciate. I appreciate a warm welcome as much as I do a farewell. And I loved when, and it was minor comparatively, but like I really loved when Aether said bye to Dia when we started Fontaine, right? And Paimon was like, bye Dia, bye Sumeru, and I'm like, holy shit, thank you for saying bye. Like we literally just moved on from Inazuma to Sumeru with no level of fanfare, no farewells or anything. And then they did it again when we left Fontaine to start Natlan, and we also took a picture with them too. So I actually just like that they're like, it's just capturing the memories and capturing like, hey, we've been on a lot of journeys. It was great. We did a lot of great things together. We wish you farewell and don't be a stranger. So, and I hope they do that again with Natlan when we go to Snezhnaya. And after that, and then at that point, I don't know what the hell is gonna, I don't know if the Saritsa's gonna like burn away the old world and usher in a new one, or what's gonna happen. But yeah, I loved the picture too. I feel like it's also like a memento of like, hey, this was a nice moment to remember once everything is said and done.
It's one of those things too, like when you look in your inventory and you see the image, like you see these photos, like the group photo from an unknown time of the siblings and Kari Bear in the middle. You have your photo of, I play as Lumion, of the Traveler and Mualani.
Yep.
You'll look through these and, you know, obviously as the player, you get attached to the quests, the characters, and the memories that you have, all of the, you know, like event items, stuff like that. Like you have Dodoko's, like the story of Dodoko with, you know, Klee, and then you have Jiren's tale. You have, you know, the oh my goodness, the light novels of Raiden and Yae Miko. Like it's just things like that, like all of the memories that the Traveler holds dear to them. And yes, they're just inventory items, but if we look from a lore perspective, it is very, very, it's going to be all the more heartbreaking when the time comes, when it is time to leave.
Well, like, look at what happened in Natlan's like first act of the Archon quest. Like, Mavuika had all of these items that she ended up burning. She burned them up, but they had sentimental value, like enough to connect to Natlan's ley lines, the Night Kingdom. So, like, they might just be things in our inventory, but they connect us to this world in a lot of ways.
I hope Aether doesn't get any ideas of doing the same thing. That would break my heart. I take so many of my own photos in Genshin as well. So like I have like basically basically like a ragtag scrapbook of my adventure throughout the game.
Aww.
And so like I couldn't imagine like, you know, loot like, and yeah, that was great. Like I remember walking through the doors of her office and I'm like, where's all your stuff? Where you moving? And then when she was like, well, we had to get you out of there one way or another, and I'm like, God, I took pictures of everything in her office too, thank God. But yeah, mementos are so important.
Also, another thing that I think is really funny is like, aw, you have like the garland from the Aranara and, you know, the commemorative photos. And then if you look to your, you know, look to the top row, you'll have the silver twig that definitely doesn't talk about Odin. You know, just little things you carry around.
Yes.
Also, can we talk about the parallels between Candace and Nilo and the Goddess of Flowers and King Deshret, and the fact that, you know, of course we've always known that Nilo is a dancer, just like the Goddess of Flowers, but Candace
She's cosplaying her too.
The instrument. Well, yeah, but Candace playing the instrument just like Deshret did, and then they had like the cutscene with like Candace playing and Nilo dancing. I was like, oh my god.
Do you guys think we'll ever see what they like? We'll see them, and when I mean see them, I mean like there's like I would love for there to be like probably in 2D, most likely, like kind of like how they did the cutscene for Nahida's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to see some characters that are like lost to the past. Like I would love to see what Xibalanque looks like, and King Deshret, Nabu Malikata, Aegeria for like in a proper sense, not like in a stone slab. I would just love to know what they look like. I hope Hoyoverse eventually does that.
I think if we can ever go into the ley lines, we might be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think the Genius Invocation TCG cards are
Oh,
like a
yeah.
precursor to
I
what they
don't
look like.
actually. As a caster, I don't agree. I think that they're very intentional with like how like what they choose to represent in certain cards. We might get some.
Sorry. Can you repeat that? What were you saying?
Well, okay, so I think they're very intentional with like the kinds of characters they choose to reveal. And so far, the really historical characters, like the Goddess of Flowers, have been shown only in like artifact sets. Like Vorukash's Glow is one that I'm thinking of, but we haven't had like any big lore reveals with like T cards.
Yeah.
We've just like paid homage to certain NPCs.
Yeah.
As character support cards, but I feel like they wouldn't appear as playable characters. They wouldn't appear as bosses. So the only thing I can really think of is if there's some event card that might reveal what they look like, or maybe like an arcane legend. I could see that happening because arcane legends tend to be like those really fancy cards that showcase some part of history. But even then, like the only non-Archon one we have, I think, is Golba, which is still kind of like we know what Golba looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know. Like I had a hope that they would do that in the future, but especially because I'll say as a caster too. They are no longer having casting for Genius Invocation TCG, so they've cut down on a lot of the support that they were giving it before, at least for global. And at the moment, the physical cards are only released in China. We're not having a global release at the moment. I don't know if we're going to get those kinds of expansions for Genius Invocation TCG, unfortunately. Maybe they'll do some really big thing and have it come back. But
yeah, TCG's been popping off. I mean, they just added like the auto battle like for this
they put TFT
5.2
in TCG, but I don't know if I would say it's popping off. Unfortunately, they've cut back a lot of support for it.
Oh, I just
There's
mean
no more
like the
casting.
features for it at the very least. Like I meant in game.
Yeah, they have the events. Pretty cool. It's still really big in CN scene. They're still supporting the CN scene a lot.
I do look forward to, because I absolutely adore the because I love the art style whenever they have like the story cutscenes in story quests. So it would be really nice to see, you know, historical characters and how they would appear. So I just look forward to it in the future. Hopefully if we, you know, get that in one way or another. Yeah. And I just think it's really cute. One of the things I do like are a lot of the character designs. So it just makes me happy.
Oh, that's right. I just remembered. We're getting the wings next patch. The Natlan wings. I think if you can complete them, I think you can complete the tribal levels before the patch is over. So, God, whatever lore those wings are gonna give are gonna be insane, I think.
Well, it's also too, I know I'm behind, so I definitely won't get them like immediately. I was through the moon when I finally was able to get the Fontaine wings because that lore was so intense.
Yeah.
But I am curious because we got Wings of Feasting, how Alice is a guardian of Teyvat's borders.
Mm-hmm.
And I did think it was really cute how I believe it wasn't Venti's. I can't remember exactly which glider it was that was basically, I'm pretty sure it was Venti describing each of the Archons.
Wait, you mean the anniversary wings? The concert, was it the concert anniversary wings that basically talked about like the calling to the stars and like the stone, the sea, or
I thought the anniversary wings were talking about Raiden.
It's not going to be this patch, but because someone in my chat did ask, they did announce that 5.2 Genshin Impact's coming to Xbox, and they are getting an Xbox themed wing glider.
Green and black.
Global is getting it in 5.3.
Oh yeah, he just got the Xbox.
So Xbox gets it in 5.2, and then everyone else gets it in 5.3.
Oh well, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a darker green, so it kind of looks good on like Alhaitham and Tainari compared to the Sumeru wings, because I think the Sumeru wings are a little light, it's definitely like a lighter green.
I have the default wings on Alhaitham. Well, that's not even to be shady. I just don't think. I promise that wasn't to be shady. I generally didn't think that because I was looking at the other glider sets, and I'm like, I don't think it doesn't really match him.
I was like, damn, I hate them.
Because I'm like, man, this is so annoying. I have to match him. I don't actually have to, but I'm like, well, I guess you'll just have the default ones until different colors appear for you.
Fashion impact is real.
It's very important because I loved the Nahida's weapon set series. I think her weapon's very cute. I do like Alhaitham's sword, but then it was Tignari's signature. I'm like, this is such a pretty bow, and it also matches the wings, but it doesn't really match you. Like the gliders don't match you, so you're just gonna be default.
Yeah, that is true.
He's so awful. But yeah, I look forward to all of the new little lore drops, and I can't wait till once we're able to discuss them. We absolutely will geek out about them.
Whatever. I'm really eager to see whatever this interlude is gonna give, because I mean, the captain's gonna be in it first and foremost. Like, it's already gonna be a good time. But like, I'm eager to see like what is he here for, and what is he gonna talk about? What is he gonna share?
Actually, on that note, I'm curious if the Natlan wings will talk about the Shade of Death, since Fontaine's were about the Shade of Life.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They're red and black as well. But yeah, I'm really eager. And I think this will be the first time we're able to get the wings just before the Archon comes out. Which, well, at least for me, because the tribal quests are done in such a way that I think we'll be able to have everything maxed out before 5.3.
Isn't this the first time the Archon's being released so late?
Technically, because we're a patch behind. Usually the Archon quests end during the 0.2 of a region. But yeah, technically, yeah. It's also interesting that this is the patch that Xbox is getting on board. Hey, you got. I mean, but then again, they got Nuvolette, Zhongli, Chaska, and Auroran, and then a bunch of other 4-stars.
They have 2 dragons, and the other 2.
Oh man.
I'm so excited. I can't not be excited, because actually, now that I think about it, which patch? I can't recall. I thought there was usually kind of a indicator as to when they release the Archons, if it's a 0.3 or 0.4 patch, but I don't know if that's...
It used to be. It's usually every 0.2 patch after Sumeru's release.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, someone mentioned in your chat, Arnold, that is Zhongli a dragon?
Oh, that discussion.
I won't get too deep in the discussion, but for me, he's a dragon, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was playing around when he fell out of the sky as that, the Exuvia. I'm pretty sure that was legit.
Though to be fair, all things considered, it would have to be an entire actual discussion as to who and what Zhongli could be or is.
Yeah.
Because that man is probably the most suspicious ever.
Yeah.
My opinion is we know that Zhongli appeared in a dragon form, and for me, that's enough to say he takes the form of a dragon. You know what I mean? And we've learned from Natlan that there are dragons not necessarily related to sovereigns. There's just dragons out there. So
I mean, he signed an NDA, so he could be anything.
You will never know.
It could be
We will
anything. You'll never know.
He literally can take on any form.
I would love for him to be the Geo Sovereign.
He's so funny. To be honest, Zhongli is such a funny. No, I'm just an old man. I'm nothing more.
And he's
Do
dripped
not look
out in
into
gold.
it.
Like his eyes are gold. His like we now know about like the gold inscriptions and like the gold phlogiston and like that's like the power of dragons. I'm just like Zhongli, you're getting sussier by the patch, man. I don't know. I mean, if anything, his secret's gonna come out next, like by the end of the year or by the end of next year, because I'm sure the Saritz is gonna reveal what his NDA clause entails. Either that or he'll show up and reveal it. You know, his NDA was in connection to giving up his Gnosis, so.
But yes, I mainly jest, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm actually being, you know, how you either feel or interpret, like, as to what a character is. Like, I don't want to be that person to just be argumentative for the sake of being argumentative.
Yeah.
Things are just vague and in the air. Like, he is, you know, an Adepti. I just think that compiled also with, like, the actual ancient history we know and could speculate, I just think that he's a very silly guy. So it's open to interpretation with some things. He is. You can't tell me Zhongli is not the silliest guy.
I agree.
Yeah, he is.
And it's great that he works he works with Hu Tao, who's also very silly. Affectionate. I love her.
I can't wait.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this was a great discussion. I'm like really happy we got to talk about all of this stuff.
Yes. I apologize again for the delay.
No, it's
I wish
fine.
the internet
no, not at all.
connection
It's not
wasn't
your
awful.
fault.
No, it's fine. Rue, you still there?
I think Rue is AFK.
Her
okay.
dog called.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. We lost her. The dog claims another.
But yeah, I also need to make dinner soon, and unfortunately, my internet died earlier for whatever reason, so I kind of want to investigate it.
Alrighty. Well, I think this was a very healthy and productive discussion. This was really fun. I would love for us to try to do something post content if we're all caught up at a certain point, or whoever's willing or able to participate in 5.2.
I'm ready. I'm down.
With,
I'm not ready. I haven't played yet.
I'm assuming that, yeah, so we're gonna have an interlude, 2 tribal quests, and the Ochkanatlan, and then the event, which seems like it's gonna be Masters of the Nightwind focus, which is exciting.
Yeah, probably we can discuss the interlude first. We can take
Yeah,
like, the same format.
We'll probably. It's, I actually kind of like that. I'm like Roosevelt was definitely onto something. Like I like splitting up Archon quests and like Archon
Like
quest
world
is one
quest
thing, and
item.
then pretty much everything else, like world quests and tribal quests for another thing. Also, just tangentially, just because we haven't. I don't think Leah had it done at the time of. But what did you guys think of Xilonen's tribal quest?
It was so good.
I appreciate Xilonen more,
Yeah.
you know.
I think I can properly compare like the different tribal quests at this point now. Xilonen's one that was just a very good standalone story.
Yeah.
Kinich was one that
Lore impact.
was like lore, lore impact. That was
Yeah.
like so lore heavy. Was my personal favorite because of the lore heaviness. But Xilonen's was just like a good story, you know,
Yeah.
like in general, like as a standalone thing, like it was just so well written. And then Mualani's I think was one of the weaker ones, but it was still interesting in its own right. I still really like it, but yeah, I think I would rank them if I were to rank them. Kinich, Xilonen, then Mualani.
I kind
I
of like.
agree.
I tried to take. I personally put like my bias to lore aside. Specifically in my ranking, I actually think because it was a very good standalone story, Xilonen's is a little higher for me than Kinich's, because I know I like Kinich's because of all of the lore, and especially like all the fan service, like Enjo and unfinished Reverie and Talking Stick. I'm just like, this is not fair. Like, yes, I like Kinich's, like Kinich's clears, but like and it was so dark too, like Xilonen's whole like the ancient name stuff and all that. I was like, wow, this is like wild. So yeah, I really enjoyed all of them. One last point that I want to make, I talked about this a little bit, and this was alleviated to an extent. I feel like Hoyoverse is doing it specifically because it's all about the relevance factor, but I just wish that there was more history history on the other Pyro Archons besides Xilonen and Mavuika. I know that they touch on a Pyro Archon that's not one of them two in Mualani's signature weapon. I won't spoil it if you guys haven't checked it out, but they do touch on one. But the fact is that there's been like hundreds, if not thousands, of Pyro Archons. I wish there was more lore about just like what they did after getting this information on, like, you know, Mavuika's plan, or even the ones that came before her, you know, between Xilonen and Mavuika, and then after Mavuika goes to the fire, I'm assuming there were other Pyro Archons that took over. I just wish that, like, there's like this massive gap of lore of like other Archons taking the seat and you know, moving the plot, and I'm just kind of curious, like their impact on history. I know we're here now, so it's like, okay, they did their job, but, you know, just for world building purposes, I think that would be really cool if we got more of that. Maybe we will, you know, by the end, like if we get you know, the other tribe. I mean, technically we're getting the other tribes. The Archon that her name is Cochinina, and she was the Pyro Archon from the People of the Springs, so we at least know People of the Springs and Scions of the Canopy with Mavuika, so maybe we'll learn about some of the other ones from the other tribes now that we have a couple of other ones. But yeah, that's just the only thing I wanted to say. Like, I wish we had a little bit more of the Archon history, since this is the first nation that there's been more than like 2. So
yeah, no, I agree. I do hope they're able to give us a bit more. If they can't completely flesh them out, then I would appreciate having a little bit more of an indicator as to, you know, the line of Archons prior to Mavuika. So yeah, one can hope. It would be really, really nice to see. But I have to, you know, maybe I hope that we're able to learn more of that. And I also hope we get more scrolls to read, because I need more books in this game. I love the book collections.
Yeah. Did you read the moon, the star shard book?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, that book was so good.
So,
I really, really liked. I think that's my favorite like scroll out of the ones we found so far. Actually, Records of Hanan Pacha was really good too.
Yes, and I hope we get more in the new tribal like areas. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
With those related world class.
I really like how they've done Natlan's like lore exposition, because I kind of like that we don't have all the information yet. I feel like we've definitely had information overload in some past regions, like up front, and then the latter patches were kind of like empty. So I hope the spread out is a bit better in Natlan, and like it makes me excited to learn more about the other Archons. I just hope they'll give it to us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hope we're not waiting for nothing.
Yeah, because that makes me like, it makes me think of Fontaine, because I adore Fontaine, but if you were not ready and you just jumped into the Narcissenkreuz world quest,
oh yeah,
good luck. You would have to like reread, like there is so much information.
Yeah.
Like the Narcissenkreuz world quest would, like, there was so much information, so much lore. It was great lore, but it was overwhelming.
And
me.
even it actually, technically, some of it even predated Fontaine's release. Like a lot of that came to light after Kavarin of Good and Evil, and like all the like Renee's notes and stuff like that, and some of like the early like artifact sets. So yeah, and there are people getting into oh my god, I hope there are some new fans of lore that come up from the Xbox community. I'm just thinking of like, so many people are probably going to be playing for the first time, and I hope they enjoy it, and I hope they give it a chance. And I know it's a lot. I don't know if I started Genshin for the first time today, and I'm just like, I don't even know where the hell, I'd probably play it the same way, but I would probably never be caught up, just because there's just so much.
It is a lot. It can seem daunting, and there is a lot of information, but I do feel if you really do love world building, if you genuinely love the lore, finding a comfortable space to be in to talk about it is so worth it. It's so fun. It's really good. So that's why I really enjoy talking to you guys, seeing everyone in chat. Like it's just it's fun. It's so fun. Genuinely.
Alrighty, so I think this is a good wrap-up point. But thank you guys all for tuning in and watching, for everyone that's live throughout all of our streams. I hope we had a lot of interesting conversations and discussions. Also, the first video I uploaded has like 10,000 views, and there's a
Wait,
lot
what?
of there's like a big warm reception. A lot of people are like, Arnold, please tell me you guys are gonna do another one. Please tell me you're uploading it to YouTube. So a lot of people like really love just us talking about lore enthusiastically and sharing our thoughts. And yeah, I really I personally, this is like, oh my gosh, this is like doing everything for me, getting out all of my thoughts and sharing it with people that I know also enjoy the lore to the same extent as I do. So it's really rewarding to just be back here and to hopefully be able to do this you know, on a consistent basis, just, you know, when we're all able to. It was nice that we're hopefully have like a rhythm going.
I'm so happy you've been able to join us both last time and this time. We've been having these lore discussions for how long, Kiryu? It's been a long time, but not everyone participates these days. People get busy with other things. So I don't know, maybe like I love our group, and maybe we can get some of the older members back in on discussions if they get caught up, or maybe we can think about inviting other guests or whatever, just whatever we're comfortable with, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And like obviously for everything, if it works within our schedules, I think that'd be nice. Also, Rue, I hope you're having fun with your dog wherever you are. She I think she bowed out a little while ago, but thank you guys all so much for watching and well, probably listening more than watching. I've been like running around throughout the game throughout the 3 hours, but this was great. We will try our best to schedule. We're probably gonna, if we can shave some time in, we'll probably do one of these discussions for the Interlude Archon quests in 5.3, and then we'll probably do a follow-up with Ochkanatlan, the event, and, you know, tribal quests when the time comes. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. You guys want to say anything else?
I was just going to say thank you everyone for stopping by again and being here as we excitedly talk about Genshin Impact lore. It really means a lot, and I thoroughly enjoy being able to talk to everyone about this. So I always look forward to our future lore discussions, and I do agree that we'll probably have more once everyone's schedules are able to accommodate, and then we'll try to do, you know, like maybe Archon quests on this stream and then World Quest and other stuff on another one. But it's always a pleasure, and I always get excited talking to you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, just echoing everyone's sentiments. Honestly, like as a lore creator for a long time in this community, it gets harder to feel motivated to keep up with everything, even though like the content is honestly so amazing. But having these lore discussions is just really motivating. It makes me want to like make sure I'm brushed up on everything and like showing my best self in these discussions. I know like Arnold and Kiryu and Ruth are all taking notes as well, like leading up to this discussion, because everyone just like really want to study and share what they've learned, because there's so many lessons to be had in like analyzing Genshin's lore, right? On like cultural history, like all these references that Genshin includes to like the real world, and just like lessons in morality and things like that. There's so much you can learn, and so I really value discussions like this, and it's a great way to build community and you know, genuine friendship. So I am very happy to be here always, and definitely appreciate anyone who enjoys listening.
As a last comment, because I wanted to just add something to what you said there. I cannot wait for the day where we all join into a stream and we all disagree or have different perspectives on, like, I'm thinking about the primordial one, like, conversation we had with Fanis, and I can't wait until we get to a point where we just all have very different perspectives that we feel strongly about, and that we can just like equally just like share our perspectives and just like see how that developed. Like I really like that. Like I think that was probably like my favorite like topic that we shared about you know, the morality and, you know, everything regarding Fanis. That's something I've been thinking about for like the last couple of weeks, and I've been thinking like, oh man, I have to remember to bring this up in the podcast. I have to remember to talk about this, and it was great. So yeah, it's you guys just make Genshin, like playing it and talking about it, like all the more exciting for me. So, and I learned just as much about like my thoughts on it, and just hearing your guys' different perspectives on it just as much as, you know, me yapping about it on stream. So I hope we can continue to do these. They're really fun, and I hope you guys watching can continue to tune in live or at your leisure when these go up on the VOD. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. We will let you guys know whenever we decide or schedule out the next episode. This is going to be episode 2 when it goes up on YouTube for my channel. But thank you guys all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.